It's just gonna be me here alone. Oh, we got some people joining. Bella, look. Got people looking at us. Say hi.
August 18.
So Chris, it's your house. You can go inside with us if you'd like, or you could stay out here. It doesn't matter to us.
Doesn't matter. I mean, free reign, just whatever you gotta do.
Okay.
Like, I can chill on the decks on the side of the sun, but
Okay.
cool.
All right. Whatever you'd like. How long have you guys been married?
So, we've been together 8 years, married 6 this year.
Okay. And this is very unusual behavior?
Yeah, we can get that dog out of here.
Okay.
She's gonna flip.
If this stillness holds you, a quiet gesture helps sustain these long-form investigations. Taking a
Mr.
moment
Watts,
to like
why
the
did you
video
kill your
or
wife and 2
subscribe
children?
allows stories like this to be examined with the time and care they demand, bringing hidden truths into focus, one layer at a time.
There?
Oh, that was...
No, the doorbell, is that a ring doorbell?
Yeah, like when you got a visitor, it does, but I don't think the speaker is on to where you hear it, like by...
Okay. I guess my question for you is, would it show her leaving with the kids? Did you have any alerts?
If she came out here, yes. Like, if...
Did you have any alerts today with that?
Just when her friends were here.
Does it only record when the doorbell rings, or anytime someone...
If you're, like, right here, it should just start, the proximity should hit up.
Okay, and if you had anything on that today?
Just her friends.
And what time was that?
12:10, and about 10 minutes afternoon.
Okay. But nothing between the time when she got here this morning?
Like, she got here at 2. Only thing
this morning?
2 o'clock this morning.
Okay.
Like 1:48 on here. And the only thing that was weird was that the garage door said as left open after I left. And it might have been the sensor, but like my phone doesn't show when
For your alarm?
Yeah, it doesn't show if it shuts.
And who's your alarm through?
Vivian.
Okay.
But Nikki, her friend that came here about 12:10, she said the garage door was shut when she got here.
Okay.
That was the only thing that was weird.
All right. Were you going to hang out there, or you want to come in here?
I'll start here.
Okay.
I don't want to be in it. Get lower.
I just want them back. I just want them to come back. And if they're not safe right now, that's what's tearing me apart. Because if they are safe, they're coming back. But if they're not, this has got to stop. Like, somebody has to come forward.
Girls.
Oh, CC
Girls.
Bella.
Okay. You want chocolate? No chocolate? If you want chocolate, you just get this bowl. You want this one? Bigger one? We're gonna go.
I love you too.
This is the morning. This is why I love that I thrive.
Objectively say that this is perhaps the most inhumane and vicious crime that I have handled out of the thousands of cases that I have seen. And nothing less than a maximum sentence would be appropriate, and anything less than the maximum sentence would depreciate the seriousness of this offense. Deputies, I would respectfully ask that you take this defendant into custody and have him serve the rest of his life in the Department of Corrections. We are in recess.
Tell them you love them.
You're welcome. We love you.
Say love you.
Candy?
Oh yeah, that's in here.
Position of trust with respect to the victim in violation of Colorado Revised Statutes 18-3-102, subsection 1, subsection F. Do you understand? Yes, sir. Count 5 alleges murder in the first degree, a class 1 felony. It alleges that between and including August 12th, 2018 and August 13th, 2018, Christopher Lee Watts unlawfully, feloniously, and knowingly caused the death of Celeste Watts, a child who had not yet attained 12 years of age, and the defendant was in a position of trust with respect to the victim in violation of Colorado Revised Statutes 18-3-102, subsection 1, subsection F. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
With regard to these first 5 counts, the minimum sentence that the court could impose if convicted is life imprisonment in the Colorado Department of Corrections, and the maximum sentence is death. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Let me also point out that pursuant to Rule 32.1 of the Rules of Criminal Procedure,
I don't want him to really go in the ocean. I mean,
Ready, set. Ready, set.
The pool opens in 2 weeks too.
what's the degrees today?
85 the last I checked. 120.
Wow.
No, Cece.
Yeah.
CC, get girl.
Oh God. Oh my gosh, are you kidding? She can climb that fence.
Everyone needs to deserve this. Everyone.
Absolutely everyone.
Tell them how much fun it is.
It's amazing.
This place is nuts. It is phenomenal.
We're gonna go have some fun. Get to hear what's coming out. It's absolutely exciting. We're super excited. We'll be back here live shortly, guys. Love you. Cece play patty cake on Daddy's head.
Yeah, she's gripping it right now.
Cece play patty cake on Daddy's head. Go whack it, Daddy.
Don't do that, Cece. Don't do it. Sounds kind of hollow.
Whack it, Daddy. Don't spit.
Don't spit on Daddy, please. Oh, that's a shower.
Careful, Bella, don't fall, okay? Whack it, Daddy. Whack it, Daddy. One more time, Daddy. Whack it, Daddy. Whack. Hey guys, good morning, or I know for Colorado people it's good morning, good afternoon for everybody else. I wanted to come here live because today is the big day for the huge, our cocktail party is tonight where Product X is going to be released. We're super excited. We're heading to the pool right now, and then we have a massage today paid for by Lavelle. Today at 3:30. So Chris and I are super excited. So we're gonna get a massage after we lay by the pool for a little bit and maybe go to the beach again. And then we're going to go to the cocktail party. And we will be live there tonight.
Your Honor, there are no words to adequately describe the unimaginable tragedy that brings us before this court today. By my comments, I'm not even going to try to express the horror, the pain, or the suffering that the defendant has caused to these families, to this community, and to all who were a part of this investigation. However, I do want to spend a few minutes sharing with the court the details of the crime, as so far you've only had an opportunity to review the affidavit and a few facts here and there that have been offered to the court in the motions and pleadings that have been filed. The questions that have screamed out to anyone who will listen since August 13th of 2018 are why and how? Why did this have to happen? How could a seemingly normal husband and father annihilate his entire family? For what? These are the questions that only one individual in this courtroom or on this planet knows the answers to. I fully expect we will not receive the answers to these questions today, nor will we at any point in the future. I don't expect that he will ever tell the truth about what truly happened or why. Even if he did, there is no rational way that any human being could find those answers acceptable responses to such horrific questions. The best we can do is try to piece together some kind of understanding from the evidence that is available to us. And the evidence tells us this: the defendant coldly and deliberately ended 4 lives, not in a fit of rage, not by way of accident, but in a calculated and sickening manner. Shanann was 34 years old. She had married the defendant in November of 2012. Over the weekend leading up to August 13th, she had been at a work conference in Phoenix, Arizona, and returned home in the early morning hours of August 13th. We know that she got home about 1:45 in the morning. The doorbell camera on their home shows her arriving back home from the airport. Shortly thereafter, at least according to the defendant, they had what he referred to as an emotional conversation about the state of their marriage and about what their lives would look like going forward. What was said during that emotional conversation, only he knows. What we do know is that shortly after that, the defendant strangled her to death with his own hands. We know that he slowly took her life the morning of August 13th. We know that this was not done in an uncontrolled, vengeful manner that he tried to describe to agents from CBI and the FBI. If that were the case, you would expect to see vicious, horrible bruising about her neck, shoulders, and face. You would expect to see the hyoid bone in her neck broken. You would expect to see some kind of defensive wounds on his body as she struggled and fought for her own life. None of those are present. The only injuries that were on Shanann's body were one set of finger or bruising, what appeared to be fingernail or finger mark bruising to the right side of her neck. We know that our experts will tell us that it takes 2 to 4 minutes to strangle someone to death manually with their own hands. The horror that she felt as the man that she loved wrapped his hands around her throat and choked the life out of her must have been unimaginable. Even worse, what must Bella, age 4, and Celeste, age 3, must have experienced or thought as their father, the one man on this planet who was supposed to nurture and protect them, was snuffing out their lives. They both died from smothering. Let me say that again. The man seated to my right smothered his daughters. Why? Imagine the horror in Bella's mind as her father took her last breaths away. Your Honor, understand very clearly, Bella fought back for her life. The frenulum, the connective tissue between her upper lip and her gum, had a centimeter and a half laceration. She bit her tongue multiple times before she died. She fought back for her life as her father smothered her. Celeste had no such injuries. In fact, she had no external injuries at all. But according to the medical examiner, she was smothered nonetheless. The defendant then methodically and calmly loaded their bodies into his work truck, not in a hasty or disorganized way. He was seen from the neighbor's doorbell camera backing his truck into the driveway, going back and forth into the house and back out to the truck 3 different times, 1 time for each of their bodies. He then drove them away from their family home 1 final time, intent on hiding any evidence of the crimes that he had just committed. In 1 final sign of callousness for his wife, his daughters, and their unborn son, and their remains, he drove them to a location that he thought no one would ever find them. to one of the oil tank batteries with which he was so familiar. He knew this was safe. He had texted a coworker the night before saying, "I'll head out to that site. I'll take care of it." He had carefully ensured that he would be alone in the middle of the plains to secrete away the remains of his family in a place that he hoped they would never be found. In one final measure of disrespect for the family he once had, he ensured that they would not be together, even in death, or so he thought. He disposed of them in different locations. He buried Shanann and Nico in a shallow grave away from the oil tanks. Bella and Celeste were thrown away in the oil tanks at this facility. Different tanks, so these little girls wouldn't be together in death. Imagine this, Your Honor. This defendant took those little girls and put them through a hatch at the top of an oil tank, 8 inches in diameter. Bella had scratches on her left buttocks from being shoved through this hole. A tuft of blonde hair was found on the edge of one of these hatches. The defendant told investigators that Bella's tank seemed emptier than CC's because of the sound that the splashes made. These were his daughters. Significantly, when his coworkers arrived at the tank battery later that morning, to a person, they all described him as acting completely normally. It was a normal workday, even while his daughter sank in the oil and water not far away from him. And then his efforts at deception truly began. We've all seen the emotionless interviews that the defendant gives to the local media, asking for help in locating his family. We watched as he claimed that the house was empty without them, and that he hoped that they were somewhere safe, and that he just wanted them to come home. He told investigators that they were at home sleeping when he left for work that morning, and that Shanann had told him that she was taking the girls to a friend's house for the day. What is striking about this case, Your Honor, beyond the horrors that I've already described to you, is the number of collateral victims that he created by his actions. While he stood in front of TV cameras asking for the safe return of his family, scores of law enforcement officers, neighbors, friends, and family scoured the area, fretted for their safe return. They texted him begging for any information and sending him their best wishes, all the while he hid what he had done. The list of indirect victims does not end there. Think of the firefighters and the Colorado State Patrol hazmat experts who had to don protective suits and who were called upon to pull Bella and Celeste out of those oil tanks. Or the coroner employees who had to conduct these autopsies. Or the victim assistants who frantically attempted to ease the suffering of those affected. All of this, Your Honor, for what? Why? Why did this have to happen? His motive was simple, Your Honor. He had a desire for a fresh start, to begin a relationship with a new love that overpowered all decency and feelings for his wife, his daughters, and unborn son. While Shanann texted the defendant over and over again in the days and weeks leading up to her death, attempting to save her marriage, the defendant secreted pictures of his girlfriend into his phone and texted her at all hours of the night. While Shanann sent the defendant self-help and relationship counseling books, one of which, ironically enough, was thrown in the garbage. He was searching the internet for secluded vacation spots to take his new love in researching jewelry. And while Shanann took the girls to visit family in North Carolina, the defendant went to car museums and the sand dunes with his new girlfriend. The stark contrast between the subjects of their internet and text content is absolutely stunning. Even the morning after he killed them and disposed of their bodies, he made several phone calls. One was to the school where the girls were supposed to start, telling the school that the girls would not be coming to school anymore, that they were being unenrolled, presumably to give him some more time before law enforcement notification about them going missing. He contacted a realtor to start discussing the selling of his house, and he texted with his girlfriend about their future. None of this answers the questions of why, however. If he was this happy and wanted a new start, get a divorce. You don't annihilate your family and throw them away like garbage. Why did Nico, Celeste, Bella, and Shanann have to lose their lives in order for him to get what he wanted? Your Honor, justice demands the maximum sentence under the agreement reached by the parties. As you will recall, the agreement calls for life sentences as to Shanann, Bella, and Celeste, and all of those to run consecutively to one another. It also calls for the count of unlawful termination of a pregnancy as to Nico to run consecutively to counts 1, 2, and 3. I would suggest that the extreme aggravation present in the defendant's conduct and in his the efforts that I have described mandate that the sentences for counts 7, 8, and 9, the tampering with a deceased human body, each be the maximum of 12 years, and that those sentences run consecutively to one another. It is very clear that each of these acts, that these were not the subject of one act, but each oil tank that he walked up with his daughter's bodies and the hole that he dug for his wife and unborn son mandate a mandatory consecutive sentence. It's been alluded to this morning, but the defendant was certainly eligible for the death penalty in this case under the existing law in the state of Colorado. As you heard, Shanann's family strongly opposed my office seeking the death penalty and being bound to the criminal justice system for the next several decades. That's in large part, as you've heard, why we have reached the agreement that we have. 4 lives were lost at the hands of the defendant on August 13th for reasons that we will never fully understand, nor will we know. In the end, the Rusick family was much more merciful towards him than he was towards his wife, his daughters, and his unborn son. Prison for the remainder of his life is exactly where he belongs for murdering his entire family. Thank you.
I'm Cindy Watts.
Ron Watson.
Thank you. And I have authorized you to make a statement to the court as paternal grandparents of the children. And if you choose not to make a statement, but your designee, Ms. Powers, chooses to, she can do so as well. How would you like to proceed today?
Can I read that? I want you to start, but I would like to read
Who's going to be speaking today?
Your Honor, initially, they've asked me, and they're hoping that they have the strength to speak, but if they do not, they've written out their statements and asked me to finish for them. So
That would be fine. Who would like to go first?
if I could start, Your Honor. On behalf of the Watts, Your Honor, and to the community, we thank you for the opportunity and the recognition under the Victim Bill of Rights. We come today as the grandparents and the parent of the daughter and children whose life was taken in this case. We are not here to ask for leniency. We are not in any way condoning or tolerating the crime that has occurred and the pain that has been caused. We join in our daughter-in-law and grandchildren's family in saying this should never have happened. This is not condonable. This is something that we will never get over. We appreciate the consideration that everyone has paid, most especially the families that have lost everyone. We appreciate that they begged for Christopher's life. We agree and echo what they have said, that it is not his place to take anyone's life, nor would it be our place as a community to take his life. So we thank you for the opportunity and for every consideration and effort that's been put out. The prosecution in this case has in fact respected the Victim Bill of Rights. They took the time to explain that the information that my clients had at the time that they were interviewed was not correct. They were misinformed. They were searching for answers. They were not intending to cause any pain to anyone, and they appreciate that the prosecution answered their questions and gave them the time and the respect and the consideration so that they could tell this court and everyone in this community that the interview content was not their message, that they accept that their son has done this, that they accept that he chose to plead guilty, that he sought and requested their consent and agreement for a life sentence. They appreciate that he is given the opportunity to serve that life sentence. It is his responsibility, it is his sentence, and it is not enough to make up for what has done. We understand and we join the family in that we have questions. We don't know how such a thing could possibly happen, or that a man that was responsible for raising his children and protecting his wife would take the steps that he did, and that he would disregard their bodies and the love that he had for them and they had for him and everyone else, and take the gestures and put this community through the investigation and the discovery and the responsibility of bringing justice. We do not understand that. We do not think it was appropriate. We cannot begin to think that an explanation will ever justify it. My clients indicate that they understand that a full opportunity for a confession with all of the responsibility and accountability has not occurred. And they support the family and the request that that happen, if not today, at an appropriate time, in an appropriate manner, so that everyone can have peace, to understand to the best of their ability the details that they need and to have their questions answered. And by giving this opportunity of a life sentence, we hope that he embraces that moment. That had the death penalty been pursued, there would not have been an opportunity to be accountable and to give a full confession. And had the death penalty been sought, counsel would have fought for his life, the prosecutors would have been engaged in a multiple-year battle, the families would have been torn apart, this community would have had to subsidize it and endure it, and we have so much respect and gratefulness that that did not happen. We would strongly encourage Christopher Watts to give that full confession in the tone and in the timing that he thinks is appropriate with the guidance of his counsel. We feel that it would be appropriate and helpful to ease the pain and the suffering. But we also say we don't think that there's anything that he can say that will ever account for his behavior. There's nothing that can be done to cure the harm he has caused. And he has the responsibility to serve his sentence with dignity and with regard for everyone, and to spend every breath that he has left in an atonement for what he has done. Do you want to read it?
Yes. If I could just have you state your name for the record.
Cindy Watts.
Thank you.
My name is Cindy Watts. I am the grandmother of two beautiful granddaughters, Bella Marie, Celeste Catherine Watts. I am also the mother of Christopher Watts, who I will be directing most of my statement to. First, I'd like to begin by recognizing the absolute horror of this crime and acknowledging the devastating loss that both the Rusek family as well as our family have faced. Our families have been irreparably broken by the needless deaths of Shanann, Bella, Cece, and Nico. This is something we will never get over. We will always mourn the loss of our family, and in that we are united in our grief. I am still struggling to understand how and why this tragedy occurred. I may never be able to understand and accept it, but I pray for peace and healing for all of us. Now to my son Christopher, I have known you since the day you were born into this world. I have watched you grow from a quiet and sweet, curious child who Bella reminded me so much of, to a young man who worked hard in sports and later mechanics to achieve your goals. You are a good friend, brother, father, and son. We have loved you from the beginning, and we still love you now. This might be hard for some to understand, how I can sit here under these circumstances and tell you, although we are heartbroken, although we can't imagine what could have led us to this day, but we love you. Maybe you can't believe it either. As the Lord said in Jeremiah 3:31, I have loved you with an everlasting love. Therefore, I have continued my faithfulness to you.
And you, as your mother, Chris, I have always loved you, and I still do. I hate what has happened. Your father and sister and I are struggling to understand why. But we will remain faithful as your family, just as God remains faithful because of his unconditional love for us all. We love you, and we forgive you, son.
Thank you.
Judge, if I could read Mr. Watts' statement.
Yes.
My name is Ronnie Watts, and I am the grandfather of Bella, Celeste, Nico Watts, and I am the father of Shannon. I am the father of Christopher Watts as well. And one of the most important things I've done in my life is to raise my children and to watch as they started their own families. I spent many years coaching Little League and talking to my son, taking him to the races, and sharing my love and knowledge of cars with him. He was just as involved with his girls. I believe he loves his girls. I know he does. This tragedy has impacted my family in so many ways. Beyond losing my precious grandchildren, our beloved daughter-in-law, we are forced to question everything. We still don't have all the answers, and I hope one day, Christopher, you can help us. Chris, I want to talk to you as a father and son. You are here today accepting responsibility, but I want to tell you this now. I love you. Nothing will ever change that. And I want you to find peace. And today is your first step. The Bible says if we confess our sins, God is faithful and just and will forgive us. Chris, I forgive you, and your sister forgives you, and we will never abandon you, and we love you. Dad. Judge, thank you for the opportunity to address the court.
What I'd like to say to the court is that Shannon, Bella, and Nico are loving, caring people. They love life. They love being around people who love them. They always had good times. This is the first time they went to the beach this year, and they loved it. But God only knows what happened that night. Life will never be the same without Shannon, Bella, and Celeste, and Nico. Had all their lives to live. They were taken by a heartless one. This is the heartless one, the evil monster, who dare you take the lives of my daughters Shannon, Bella, Celeste, and Nico. I trusted you to take care of them, not kill them. And they also trusted you. The heartless monster, and then you take them out like trash. You disgust me. They were loving and caring people. You may have taken their bodies from me, but you will never take the love they had for me. They loved us more than you will ever know, because you don't know what love is, because if you did, you would not have killed them. You monster, thought you would get away with this. I don't know how. The cameras do not lie. You carry them out like trash of the house. Yes, I seen the videotape. You buried my daughter Shannon and Nico in a shallow grave, and then you put Bella and Celeste in huge containers of crude oil. You heartless monster. You have to live with this vision every day of your life, and I hope you see that every time you close your eyes at night. Oh, I forgot. You have no heart or feelings or love. Let me tell you something. I will think of them every day of my life, and I love them every day of my life. Prison is too good for you. This is hard to say, but may God have mercy on your soul. I hope you enjoy your new life. It's nothing like the one you had out here. May the courts have no mercy on you. It's hard every day. It hurts in so many ways. I have heard people say that you're not a monster. No, you are not. You're an evil monster. Thank you. Love you, Shannon, Bella, and Nico. Love you, Pop and Dad. And one other thing. And Shannon says she is super excited for justice today. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir.
I wanted to say thank you for this moment. I want to take a moment to thank everyone who has prayed for our beloved family, who has sent gifts, cards to us from all over the world. I know God will put the evil people where they need to be. I also want to take the time to thank the town of Frederick, Greeley, FBI, the DA's office, the CBI, for exceptional work. We thank Nicole Atkinson, Shannon's neighbor Nathan, and his family. To me, they're our heroes. They really are. God bless. God makes no mistakes on who he puts in your life. Marriage is about love, trust, and friendship and unity. We marry for sickness and health, to death do us part. Our daughter Shannon loved you with all of her heart. Your children loved you to the moon and back. Shannon's family was her world. Shannon put a crown on your head. But unfortunately, the day that you took their life, God removed that crown. We loved you like a son. We trusted you. Your faithful wife trusted you. Your children adored you, and they also trusted you. Your daughter Bella Marie sang a song proudly. And I don't know if you got to see it, but it was Daddy, You're My Hero. I have no idea who gave you the right to take their lives. But I know God and his mighty angels were there at that moment to bring them home to paradise. God gives us free will. So not only did you take the family of four, your family of four, you took your own life. I want the world to know that our daughter and her children were so loved by us. There will always be protected by God and his mighty angels. I didn't want death for you because that's not my right. Your life is between you and God now, and I pray that he has mercy for you. From Shannon's mother, Bella Marie, Celeste Catherine, and Nico Lee's, Nana. Thank you, Your Honor.
Past 3 months, I barely slept because I've been going through a lot of different emotions because I did not see this coming. You went from being my brother, my sister's protector, one of the most loved people in my family, to someone I will spend the rest of my life trying to understand. What gave you the right to put your hands on a woman, let alone my best friend, my beloved sister, your daughters, and your son? Why weren't they enough for you? In the blink of an eye, you took away my whole world, the people that mattered to me the most. Everything in my life I loved, your children. They trusted you. They loved you. They looked up to you because you promised to keep them safe. Instead, you turned on your family. My blood is boiling as I write these last words because they are the last you will ever hear from me. I can't even think of the right words to describe the betrayal and the hate I feel. And to be honest, you aren't even worth the time and effort it takes to put my pen to this paper. There isn't a day that goes by that I don't cry for my family. They were my whole world. All I do is ask myself why. Why would you do this? You don't deserve to be called a man. What kind of person slaughters the people that love them the most? Did you really think you would get away with this? Did you really think that this was your best option, to throw away your family like they were garbage? They deserve better, and you know it. I hope you spend the rest of your life staring at the ceiling every night, being haunted by what you've done. None of us deserved this. Hearing my mother and father cry themselves to sleep in this hotel room causes me anguish that is beyond words. I can't describe how this feels, how badly my heart is breaking for my poor parents. We trusted you. You have taken away my family from this earth, but you can never take them from my heart. You took away my privilege of being an uncle to the most precious little girls I've ever known. I will never hear the words Uncle Frankie again, but you will never be called Dad again either. You'll never be able to put your hands on another woman, let alone my best friend, my beloved sister, and your son. I just can't comprehend how they weren't enough for you. Shanann, Bella, and Cece loved you more than anyone. You were their hero. How could you destroy the people who loved them the most? I pray that you never have a moment's peace or a good night's rest in the cage you'll spend every day of your life in. A cage you are privileged to live in because my family isn't evil like you. We begged the district attorney to spare your life because despite everything, we believe that no one has the right to take the life of another, even someone like you. I feel sorry for your family. I know the pain that they must feel knowing that they can't hug you, because that's how my mother, father, and I feel every time we cry for our family. Nothing hurts more than watching or hearing my family weep for their loved ones. I just wish that I could tell that you would tell the truth, but I know that that is asking for more than you are capable of. I stayed up all night writing this statement. I don't sleep because of you. My life will never be the same because of you, but at least my conscience is clear. I get to live free, but I can't say the same for you. I haven't slept in 2 days because I've been anxiously waiting for this moment, the moment I get to tell you how I feel, how this has affected my family and I. My family and I can finally grieve after today. If anything, we will come out of this stronger today than we were before, and we will continue to pray for your family. Sincerely, Frankie Rusick.
Thank you.
This matter comes on for a first appearance. Mr. Rohr, correct me if I'm wrong, but formal charges have not been filed yet?
That's correct, Your Honor. The defendant was arrested. Formal charges have not been filed. By my calculation, I believe it will be due to the court at 3:30 on Monday afternoon.
Thank you. Mr. Mercer, anything you would like to say about that?
Not regarding that issue, thank you.
So the court has reviewed an affidavit in support of a warrantless arrest. The court has found probable cause for the arrest. Specifically, I see that Mr. Watts was arrested for 3 counts of first-degree murder, each a Class 1 felony, and 3 counts of tampering with a deceased human body, each a Class 3 felony. Again, these are only charges that are named in the affidavit in support of the warrantless arrest. It's the district attorney's office who will ultimately decide what charges, if any, are going to be filed. And Mr. Mercer, would you like me to advise your client of his rights pursuant to Rule 5?
Yes, please.
Thank you. So, Mr. Watts, I would like you to listen carefully to the rights that you have, okay?
Thank you.
And so first, you don't need to make any statements. Any statements you make can and may be used against you. Do you understand?
Yes.
You have the right to counsel. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
If you are indigent, you have the right to request the appointment of counsel or consult with a public defender before any further proceedings are held. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Merson is the head of the public defender's office, and he is going to represent you today and potentially in the future. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any plea that you make must be made voluntarily and not the result of undue influence or coercion. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Right now, charges have not been filed, so this is a limited advisement. I intend to bring you back next week once formal charges are filed on Monday, so I can give you a full advisement. But I will tell you that at this point, the court is not authorizing any bail. Once I know what the official charges are that are filed by the district attorney's office, I'll inform you the nature of the charges. If charges are filed, you have the right to a jury trial, and you have the right to demand and receive a preliminary hearing within a reasonable time to determine whether probable cause exists to believe that you committed any of the charges that are filed by the district attorney's office. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
I believe that your lawyer has filed about 16 or so motions on your behalf, including a request for a preliminary hearing. Do you agree, Mr. Merson, that that time period, that 35 days to have a preliminary hearing, doesn't begin until your client appears in court next week once formal charges are filed?
I agree.
And I have not seen, correct me if I'm wrong, a proof positive, presumptive great written motion by your office.
Not at this point, Judge.
Okay. Okay. And so would you like me to further advise your client of any additional rights?
No, thank you.
Mr. Rourke, what kind of conditions, if any, are you requesting for the protection order given the circumstances?
Judge, I'm going to defer to Mr. Wren on that.
Mr. Wren?
People are simply asking for the standard protection order under Title 18 at this point, given the deceased nature of the victims.
And I assume based on the no bond hold, the issue of possessing or having access to or control over a firearm or any ammunition is a non-issue until and if bond is authorized.
That's correct.
Thank you. So, Mr. Watts, I am going to issue a protection order pursuant to Colorado Revised Statutes 18-1-1001. It's going to state that you not harass, molest, intimidate, retaliate against any witness involved in this case. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
If you were to violate the mandatory protection order, it's a Class 1 misdemeanor. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
And could we talk about some of them? I realize that things are happening very quickly. Motions were filed today. There hasn't been a lot of time to object or to file responses. Mr. Merson has filed a number of motions, some of which potentially may be time sensitive. My intention is for the parties to come back to court next Tuesday so I could advise Mr. Watts of his formal charges that are filed no later than 3:30 on Monday. So I'm not sure if I'm going to be requiring the prosecutor to file a response between now and Tuesday, or whether we can resolve some of these issues now. For example, the preservation of certain evidence, like police notes, handwritten notes, like touch DNA evidence, things of that nature.
Your Honor, I think we can address some of these pretty quickly, but certainly not all of them. We would be asking for time to file a written response to some of them.
Yeah, I'm just concerned about the time that elapses between now and Tuesday, and I want to make sure that the evidence that's being requested to be preserved is preserved.
Understood.
So, for example, can you, any objection for me to order that all law enforcement, both state and federal, that were involved in this case, preserve their handwritten notes? Any objection to that?
No.
So I will grant that request. Did you read Mr. Merson's motion with regard to touch DNA?
I believe that was filed under seal, and I have not seen it.
It was suppressed, so they should have had access to it.
Gail, Christy, could you print out a copy for Mr. Wren? Again, I appreciate the fact that this happened very quickly, and so let me get you a copy of that, a hard copy of that, and then you can review it and let me know what your thoughts are. Is there an autopsy that's scheduled to be conducted in the near future?
Not yet.
Motion is that?
It was a
16.
16?
Yes.
And while we're waiting, Mr. Merson, I noticed that...
Actually, I'm sorry to interrupt, Judge. It was D17.
D17?
Yeah, sorry.
So I see that your motions are numbered, but I'm missing 9 through 15.
Yeah, I basically counted them and then started off. There were some other people in my office that had filed those other pleadings and not numbered them.
I just want to make sure I'm not missing something.
I don't think you are. I think many of them concern the media issue. On the way over here, the deputies advised the court had already ruled on that. So to a certain extent, some of that is moot. But if we are going to take a D17, in light of the fact that the affidavit is still sealed, I would ask that the court seal the courtroom and just allow the parties to argue that, because it will require me to talk about information in the affidavit.
Well, why don't we give Mr. Wren an opportunity and let me know whether, without talking about the substance, whether he has an objection or not. It's really more of putting the prosecution on notice than anything else. Why don't you read it first and let me know what you think.
Yes, motion is.
You can give to the prosecution.
Steve.
Extra.
I might. It was one of the... So, I did add the house to this. So the D17 will have the house on it as well. But that's the gist of it. At this point, I'm concerned about whether or not it's not. It's been released by law enforcement. Okay. When was that? Late last night. Okay. All right. That's because that part of the motion would be mooted at this point.
I could take a moment to read this.
Mr. Mercer, anything on the documents? Let's see what Mr. Rand.
Thank you.
I'm okay with continuing it. I just don't want there to be any time-sensitive issues between now and next Tuesday that we should have handled today.
I think we need to address it today.
As I indicated, Judge, at this point, there's not an autopsy scheduled or autopsies. I don't know when that might happen. I don't know if it would happen before Tuesday or not. With respect to this motion, and does the court want to address Mr. Mercer's concerns about clearing the courtroom, given the sealed nature of this, or may I speak for you?
Well, it was I think it's based on the sealing of the affidavit in support of the warrantless arrest, and so it was your motion to seal. So if you think the reasons why you requested the affidavit to be sealed are going to be compromised, we could do this in camera. If you believe it's not, then we can talk about it publicly.
I'm not worried about the compromising nature of the affidavit. I will tell the court and make a record that the prosecution has provided Mr. Mercer with a copy of the affidavit, despite the fact that it was sealed to the public.
I am concerned about this being discussed in a non-in-camera setting. My concerns revolve around the issues I brought up and the objections to expanded media coverage. It's an ongoing investigation at this point. I have concerns about, what would be discussed and how that would implicate Mr. Watts' right to a fair trial and his due process right. So my request is that the court seal the courtroom so we can discuss this.
Mr. Wright?
Leave that to the discretion of the court.
It seems to me, based on everything I've heard, that the affidavit is going to be released at some point. It was the prosecution who requested the sealing of the affidavit. They're not concerned about this being compromised, the investigation being compromised, and so I think we can talk about this publicly. Mr. Wright?
And when you say talk about this, are we still talking about
yes.
D17,
yes.
Which was also filed under seal?
Yes.
So with respect to paragraph number 3, Judge, our concerns relate to the way this is worded. As the court knows, the pathologist goes through a very extensive process when conducting an autopsy, much of which is governed by statute. I think most of what he's asking for is standard procedure for an autopsy conducted in this jurisdiction and would be done. However, I have concerns about the way this is phrased in that it orders collection of trace DNA and touch DNA from certain areas of bodies that at this point we don't even have, frankly. Second, we don't know if that trace DNA is going to even exist if we have the bodies. So there's no way to order us to find something that may or may not exist.
I think when I read the motion, it essentially is putting the prosecution on notice that at some point they may be in possession of exculpatory evidence, and it's their duty to make reasonable efforts to preserve that and ultimately provide that to the defense. And so I think they're on notice by the mere fact that we're talking about this, that Mr. Wren got a copy of the motion, and if this becomes an issue later on, we can litigate this, and there's some pretty significant sanctions for the destruction of exculpatory evidence. Okay, so that will be the ruling of the court.
Your Honor, may I ask one clarifying question? Because the way that the motion is titled talks about the collection of touch or trace DNA at 2825 Saratoga Trail as well as during the autopsy, but the body of the motion does not. I want to make sure that Mr. Merson is aware that the home where the homicides were alleged to have occurred has been released by law enforcement, was released as of about midnight last night. So even as we stand today, we are not in a position to be able to go back in and collect trace DNA from that home. So I just want to make clear that the ruling of the court does not require us to do anything affirmative with respect to the home.
And Mr. Wren advised me that the government is no longer in control of the home, so I'm aware of that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
With regard to the motion for protective order, essentially for nobody to speak to Mr. Watts other than his attorneys and investigators and support staff, I'm assuming there's no objection to that?
Correct.
You'll put law enforcement on notice on that issue?
Yes.
Okay. Any other time-sensitive issues that cannot wait until next Tuesday?
Nothing from the legal.
Mr. Merson?
Can I just have 1 second?
Sure.
Nothing further. Thanks, Judge.
Okay, and I would just respectfully ask that if you file anything between now and next Tuesday, certainly into the future, if you could advise your office of this, if there's more than one lawyer working on it, please number every pleading that's filed, and for the prosecution as well, maybe you can use letters. And that way I know that I'm not missing something. That would be wonderful.
Yes.
Okay, so we'll see. Let's pick a time next Tuesday. I know everybody's really busy. I just had some time open up. And so what's a convenient time for everybody to be here? I'm also going to be asking if there's victim rights compliance today and see if there's a more convenient time for whoever the victim rights representative is.
We have been in communication with the family of the victims. We are in VRA compliance with that, based on that effort. At this point, we don't have any specific times that are good or bad for the family, but we will certainly contact them as soon as we leave and clarify their availability for next Tuesday.
How about the attorneys? What's a good time for you to be here on Tuesday?
Anytime, Judge. I'll make it work.
The motion's hearing in Division 12 at 2 o'clock. That'll probably last an hour. Otherwise, I'm free.
About 10 o'clock.
That's fine.
Okay. So the plan is next Tuesday, 10 o'clock, we're going to know whether the prosecution filed formal charges or not, and the deadline for that would be Monday at 3:30. I will give Mr. Watts a more detailed advisement, and then we'll decide what the next step is going to be. Does that work for everybody?
Yeah, one more thing.
Yes.
I would just ask the court order that the prosecution give the defense notice as to if an autopsy is to be scheduled, when that is scheduled, so that we can file the appropriate motions. I think you can appreciate why we would want notice of that.
Yes. Any objection to that?
Not as to the notice issue.
Yeah, I'm not going to be ordering that they, at this point, I'm not ordering that they be allowed to be present during the autopsy. Why don't we say 48 hours notice? Is that reasonable?
Yes, and if I learn that information over the weekend, I'll email Mr. Merson.
Okay with you, Mr. Merson?
That's fine, thank you.
They wouldn't do the autopsy over the weekend, though, would they?
No, I don't believe so.
They would?
They're going to try to get it done soon. So 48 hours is probably not going to do it. Because they think they're
We've all certainly seen autopsies scheduled less than 48 hours after the bodies are recovered. So we will do our best to comply with the notice requirements as soon as we learn the information.
Who would be making the decision on when to perform an autopsy?
The coroner's office.
So can you communicate with them that there's an order that there would be 48 hours notice, and if they, for whatever reason, can't comply with that, you'll let Mr. Merson know?
Is the court ordering that the autopsy not be conducted earlier than 48 hours after the recovery of the bodies?
No.
Okay.
What I'm saying is I'm ordering that you notify the coroner that there's an order that Mr. Merson's entitled to 48 hours notice, and if they are intending to perform the autopsy sooner than that, they need to let you know before it starts so you can give Mr. Merson reasonable notice.
Yes, sir.
Anything else you can think of between now and next Tuesday that we can resolve today?
Yeah.
Nothing from the prosecution.
Nothing from the defense, thanks.
Okay. All right, we'll see you next Tuesday at 10 o'clock or Monday when we are at the court.
Good morning, you're welcome to be seated. Okay, we are on the record. We are in Division 17 of the Weld County District Court, and we are here regarding Weld County case number 18CR2003, people of the state of Colorado versus Christopher Lee Watts. My name is Marcelo Cupcow, a district court judge here in Weld County, and I will be the presiding judge in this case. If I could please have the lawyers identify themselves with the record, starting with the prosecution.
Good morning, Your Honor. Michael Rourke on behalf of the people.
Patrick Roach on behalf of the people. Your Honor, John Walsh on behalf of the defense. Jim Burson on behalf of Mr. Watts. Thank you.
Thank you. And Mr. Rourke, do you want to make a record regarding compliance with the Victims' Rights Act?
Yes, Your Honor. We are in compliance with the Victims' Rights Act. Frank Rusick, who is Shanann Watts' father, is present in the courtroom, as is Frankie Rusick, who is Shanann Watts' brother. They are present in the courtroom, and we have advised them of the purpose of today's hearing and what we expect to occur.
Thank you. Mr. Watts, last week I gave you a limited advisement because charges had not been filed. They have now been filed, so I'm going to give you a full advisement. If at any time you have any questions, please let me know, and welcome also to certainly consult with your attorneys, okay?
Yes, sir.
So, you do not need to make any statements. Any statements you make can be used against you. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
You have the right to be represented by counsel, and if you're indigent, you have the right to request the appointment of counsel or consult with the public defender before any further proceedings are held, and I see that you've taken advantage of that right. Any plea that you make must be made voluntarily and not the result of undue influence or coercion. You understand?
Yes, sir.
At this point, I have denied your right to bail, given the charges. You can certainly have a conversation shortly about that issue. You have the right to understand the nature of the charges. We'll go over them in a moment. You have the right to a jury trial. You also have the right to demand and receive a preliminary hearing within a reasonable time to determine whether probable cause exists to believe that the offenses charged were committed by you. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
I assume that the defense has received a copy of the complaint and information. Mr. Watts, let me explain to you what you have been formally charged with and what the possible penalties are. Count 1 alleges that on or about August 13, 2018, Christopher Lee Watts unlawfully, feloniously, after deliberation, and with the intent to cause the death of a person other than himself, caused the death of Shanann Watts in violation of Colorado Revised Statutes 18-3-102, subsection 1, subsection 8. And that crime is classified as murder in the first degree, a class 1 felony. Do you understand? Count 2 alleges murder in the first degree, also a class 1 felony, and it reads that between and including August 12, 2018 and August 13, 2018, Christopher Lee Watts unlawfully, feloniously, after deliberation, and with the intent to cause the death of a person other than himself, caused the death of Bella Watts in violation of Colorado Revised Statutes 18-3-102, subsection 1, subsection 8. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Count 3 alleges murder in the first degree, a class 1 felony, and specifically it alleges that between and including August 12, 2018 and August 13, 2018, Christopher Lee Watts unlawfully, feloniously, after deliberation, and with the intent to cause the death of a person other than himself, cause the death of Celeste Watts in violation of Colorado Revised Statutes 18-3-102, subsection 1, subsection A. Do you understand? Count 4 alleges murder in the first degree, a class 1 felony. It alleges that between and including August 12, 2018 and August 13, 2018, Christopher Lee Watts unlawfully, feloniously, and knowingly caused the death of Bella Watts, a child who had not yet attained 12 years of age, and the defendant was in a position of trust with respect to the victim in violation of Colorado Revised Statutes 18-3-102, subsection 1, subsection F. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Count 5 alleges murder in the first degree, a class 1 felony. It alleges that between and including August 12, 2018 and August 13, 2018, Christopher Lee Watts unlawfully, feloniously, and knowingly caused the death of Celeste Watts, a child who had not yet attained 12 years of age, and the defendant was in a position of trust with respect to the victim in violation of Colorado Revised Statutes 18-3-102, subsection 1, subsection F. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
With regard to these first 5 counts, the minimum sentence that the court could impose if convicted is life imprisonment in the Colorado Department of Corrections, and the maximum sentence is death. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Let me also point out that pursuant to Rule 32.1 of the Rules of Criminal Procedure, the prosecutor would have to file a written statement of intent to seek the death penalty no later than 63 days after arraignment. Do you understand? If a life imprisonment sentence was imposed, it would be without the possibility of parole. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Count 6 alleges a Class 2 felony of unlawful termination of pregnancy in the first degree. Specifically, it alleges that on or about August 13, 2018, Christopher Lee Watts, with the intent to terminate unlawfully the pregnancy of a woman, namely Jeanette Watts, feloniously and unlawfully terminated the pregnancy of the woman. Further, the woman died as a result of the unlawful termination of the pregnancy in violation of Colorado Revised Statutes 18-3.5-103. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
The possible penalties, if convicted for this crime, is a mandatory minimum 16 years in prison up to 48 years in prison, followed by an additional mandatory parole period of 5 years. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Count 7 alleges tampering with a deceased human body, a Class 3 felony. It alleges that on or about August 13, 2018, Christopher Lee Watts, believing that an official proceeding was pending, in progress, or about to be instituted, and acting without legal right or authority, unlawfully and feloniously, willfully destroyed, mutilated, concealed, removed, or altered a human body, part of a human body, or human remains with the intent to impair it or their appearance or availability in the official proceedings in violation of Colorado Revised Statutes 18-8-610.5. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Count 8 alleges also tampering with a deceased human body, a Class 3 felony. It alleges that on or about August 13, 2018, Christopher Lee Watts, believing that an official proceeding was pending, in progress, or about to be instituted, and acting without legal right or authority, unlawfully and feloniously, willfully destroyed, mutilated, concealed, removed, or altered a human body, part of a human body, or human remains with the intent to impair its or their appearance or availability in the official proceeding in violation of Colorado Revised Statutes 18-8-610.5. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
And finally, count 9 alleges tampering with a deceased human body, a Class 3 felony. It alleges that on or about August 13, 2018, Christopher Lee Watts, believing that an official proceeding was pending, in progress, or about to be instituted, and acting without legal right or authority, unlawfully and feloniously, willfully destroyed, mutilated, concealed, removed, or altered a human body, part of a human body, or human remains with the intent to impair its or their appearance or availability in the official proceeding in violation of Colorado Revised Statutes 18-8-610.5 with regard to counts 7, 8, and 9. Those Class 3 felonies carry a presumptive range of 4 to 12 years in the Colorado Department of Corrections. If there were sufficient mitigating circumstances, the minimum could be as low as 2 years. If there were sufficient aggravating circumstances, as many as 24 years. And any prison sentence would be followed by an additional mandatory parole period of 3 years. Do you understand? Yes, sir. Do you have any questions about what I've said so far? Yes, sir. And Mr. Merson, has your office filed a written intent to seek a proof evident presumptive rate hearing?
Not yet, Judge, but we will be following that. This case will be Mr. Walsh's and Ms. Harrell's. They will be attorneys listed on the, I believe, the most recent pleading from the defense.
Okay, thank you. And I would point out, Mr. Watts, that the prosecution also indicated in the complaint and information that these were acts of domestic violence. Do you understand that? Yes, sir. Okay, thank you. And so, Mr. Walsh, what is your request today?
Your Honor, considering that we haven't received any discovery of the case, we're not in a good position at this point to advise the court about what kind of time we'll need. My suggestion to the court is that the court allow Mr. Watts to reserve the preliminary hearing in the case, reserve the proof evident hearing, and set the matter for a status conference about 60 days out.
So just to be clear, he is waiving his right to have a preliminary hearing within 35 days, that he's not seeking a proof evident presumption rate hearing prior to the setting of the status conference in about 60 days, but he's reserving his right to have those hearings in the future, but not necessarily within 35 days. Is that right?
Yes, Your Honor. We've spoken about those issues.
And do you understand what we're talking about, Mr. Watts?
Yes.
Do you have any questions about that? Okay. And Mr. Rourke, do you have any objection to that request?
No, Your Honor, that seems like the prudent way to proceed at this point.
Okay. Let me give you a date that, how does, so 60 days is about October 20th or so. I have October 11th. Does that date work for the parties? I can go a little bit further if you like as well.
I think a little bit further would make sense, Your Honor. Thank you.
How about November 19th? While we're waiting for the lawyers to let me make a record that the court's going to find that Mr. Watts is knowingly, intelligently, and voluntarily waiving his right to have a preliminary hearing within 35 days. And while he has not asked for a proof evident presumption rate hearing yet, I'm told that he will, but he's not requesting that hearing prior to the status conference that we're setting today. Agreed?
Yes. That date works fine with the defense, Your Honor. Thank you.
Your Honor, I spoke to the Rusiks, and that is fine with the people as well as the victim's family.
How is late morning on November 19th?
Anytime, Your Honor. Late morning is fine.
Very. How about 10:30?
That'll work for the people.
And that will be in Division 16. I apologize for the bouncing around of division, but my courtroom obviously is not big enough, and I will keep you updated on where the divisions are going to be, but the next court date will be in Division 16. Are there any other questions, comments, concerns, anything that we can address today before us recessing?
I think there are a couple of things outstanding, Your Honor, and first I wanted to address one very ministerial point of clarification with respect to the standing decorum order that the court entered yesterday. By its terms, And when the court defines the applicable areas, that includes my office, specifically the boundaries of the district attorney's office. I just wanted to make a request for clarification that the terms of this order do not apply to the conduct that occurs within my office itself.
Agreed.
Thank you. Otherwise, I have provided a copy of this to the employees of my office, and we will be providing it to law enforcement after this hearing is done.
Thank you. I also intend on issuing a case management order later today, so be on the lookout for that.
I don't know if the court has the desire at this point this morning to address a couple of the other outstanding motions that the Public Defender's Office has filed that we had entered or filed responses to. We have not addressed motions 2, 3, 5, and 7. And those are the defense motions 2, 3, 5, and 7. And for the record, our responses were C, D, E, and F.
I don't have those motions in front of me, but I know that I issued a number of written orders yesterday. Did you receive those?
I received written orders, but not as it relates to those 4, so perhaps they just haven't reached my desk yet.
If they haven't yet, I will issue a written ruling. We'll be getting them shortly. But I issued a number of orders yesterday.
Your Honor, does that include, I did get the order on motion 5 and motion 7. Does that include motions 2 and 3 then that the court would?
Remind me what 2 and 3 are again?
Motion 2 is the motion to allow confidential defense experts to be present for any testing. And we did have a bit of additional argument on that if the court wanted to hear it. Motion 3 is a motion for a protective order.
I prefer they put it in writing, and then I'll issue a written order with regard to that. Is that something that's time sensitive?
I think it could be, Your Honor. I can't speak for the district attorney, but it could be.
I can tell the court, understanding what Mr. Walsh is referring to in motion number 2, it is not something that is going to occur in the next day or 2, so it's not time sensitive in that respect.
So you'll be received, if you want to put something in writing, you're welcome to, and I will issue a written order in a timely manner.
Does the court want to give us a deadline for that?
Sure. When would you like to file a response?
I can have it done in a day or 2.
Okay. And so, do you have control, Mr. Warren, as to when the testing is going to occur?
Absolutely. I can certainly make clear to our forensic agents that pending the litigation or the receipt of a court order on this, that we will not do any forensic testing.
That'd be great. So did you want to have time to file a reply to the response?
If necessary, if I could have 3 business days to file a response to whatever Mr. Walsh files in the next couple of days, I would appreciate that.
Okay, so Mr. Walsh, do you have something filed by close of business tomorrow?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so close of business on Monday, Mr. Warren?
Yes, sir.
Then I'll have something to the parties by midweek next week.
Thank you.
Any other issues that we can resolve today?
Not from the people around.
No, Your Honor. Okay. Okay, we are in recess. Thank you for your time.
What side of town is she staying in? You know, how close do you want to be to work? How close do you want to be to your kids? I mean, I asked him everything. I just wanted him to have something that was accommodating for his whole family. And he told me that she was probably going to stay in the Frederick area, but he never said for sure. The first time I asked him, he's like, I don't know where she's going to go, but she'll probably stay in this area. And I was like, Chris, if you're going to get an apartment, like, you need to figure that out, because the last thing you want is to be like an hour drive from your kids. It's like, you know, you gotta be close. And so I ended up asking him again like a couple days later, and that was when he was like, I think she's staying in the Frederick area. And I was like, okay. And that's when I was like, started to get details, like where, and if you guys find my text, you'll see it, where I'm asking like, where do you want to live? Like, how close do you want to be to work? Those things, like, you know, do you care what gym you go to? Like, what are you looking for? You know,
we talked about this previously.
Yeah. So the thing was he was like super gung-ho about it, and then on Saturday, that day, I remember being outside with him when this conversation happened, but I don't know where. I don't know if we were like walking into the restaurant or walking to the car, but I like vaguely remember being outside with him. And I was like, he had told me that he wanted to go look at some places that upcoming week. And we were supposed to go do that on Wednesday. And I was like, I asked him, I was like, what places do you want to go see? And I was like, did you really like that place that I showed you? Because it was just like super convenient for everything. And I had a little playground and I had a pool. Like it would have been awesome for his kids. And it was cheap. And so it was like close to Frederick. It was like, it was close to the gym. It was close to work. It was close to me. It was close to everything. And it was in Brighton, which is what he wanted. And so, I was like, did you want to go check that place out? And he's like, yeah, I guess. And he like didn't seem sure anymore. And that was the part that I wanted to tell you. I just figured I'd give you all the backstory.
Sure. So he's not sure about the particular apartment or about even leaving?
So he told me that he looked at it and he told me that he thought it was nice, but he didn't really seem like his interest was that piqued. And I was like, well, did you find anything that you really wanted to look at? And he told me, yeah, that he'd found a few, but nothing that really, really piqued his interest. And I was like, well, you might want to get started. And he's like, well, I found one. And I asked him, I said, which one is it? Because I think I've looked at like every apartment in Brighton and maybe I'll remember it. And he's like, I don't know, I don't remember the name of it. And he kind of just like disregarded it. And it was kind of strange to me because like the whole week prior, he was like so excited that I was trying to help him because he's busy, I'm busy. So I was like, you look, I'll look, let's see if we can try to narrow it down to like 4 or 5 spots and then we'll find something that's good for you and your girls. You know, and he seemed like very enthusiastic about it. Like during the week when the conversations first really started ramping up about like, you probably got to figure something out because that house is going to sell really fast, you know, or at least be prepared. And so
why do you think he was removed or not interested on your Saturday night, wherever you guys were?
I don't know. I mean, sometimes like I think about these things and I feel like they're all assumptions, but at that point, like maybe he already knew something that I didn't. I don't know. But it was just a complete mood change where he just didn't even seem that interested. And I was like, okay. And I was like, well, we don't have to do that on Wednesday if you don't want to. And he's like, no, I know I need to get it done. And I was like, all right.
Okay.
You know, because I wasn't going to like force him to do it. If he doesn't want to do it, don't do it. Just say no, you know. And I was like, and for me, I was like, I was just offering to help because it's like, I know what a tedious task it is trying to find a new place to live.
Right. What else? Any other new info?
That part where he was just like really unplugged on Saturday, and then there was something else that went with that. Let me just think for a minute. It was I didn't write all this down. I just wrote that part down. I can't believe I can't remember all this stuff.
Yeah, you remember so much stuff already.
Slowly comes to me all the time. Well, some of this stuff is just things that you would never think about. And now that I'm like, hindsight's 20/20, I'm like starting to go back. There was something else that happened on Saturday that had to do with all of this.
Think about it for a minute. I'm going to see if my tech guy has his equipment charged. And we'll get your phone taken care of.
Okay.
So, again, I'm going to have you sign this voluntary consent.
Yep.
It's the same thing that you signed in Thornton saying that, you know, I didn't threaten you, intimidate you. You have a right to say no. I want you to read the document again. We're going to take your phone. We're going to use a program called Celebrate. If you go to your phone store, that's what they use. Sometimes they used to do this. They used to move your stuff back and forth. It's the same thing. They're going to take that information, and then an examiner who is skilled in looking at cell phone data is going to look at it to try to recover the deleted material that we're after.
I hope that they can get
the deleted material is what I'm after.
I
Obviously.
know it is. I feel so bad that I did that. I didn't even, honestly, like, that's not even what I was thinking about. I was just did not want, like, any presence from him.
So you're okay with us doing
just
everything?
Take the whole phone.
Awesome.
Just take it. Because I feel like we've been trying
I'm
to
going
do
to
this.
put
Like,
all data on here just
yeah,
for
just
ease,
take
okay?
What you need,
So
you know?
read that and make sure you sign it, that you understand that we're going to take all the data. Once I have all that stuff, I'll get your phone back to you.
That's okay. I mean, I'm not even going to use it anymore. I'm going to just use this.
Okay. I'm going to still get it back to you as soon as we're done.
Okay.
All right. So next week sometime maybe.
Okay.
Or the week after or something like, somewhere in that time frame, okay?
Okay.
All right. Relax for a minute. I'll be back in a sec.
I got it. I remembered, by the way. I got it.
Remembered what?
In my head, what I needed to tell you.
Okay.
Okay, so, hi.
Hi, I'm Matt.
I'm Nikki.
Nice to meet you.
Hello. So this is my original phone.
Okay.
That these guys would like to have.
Mhm.
I have a lot of contacts on here that are not on the phone that I'm currently transferring to.
Okay.
Like a lot of them.
Uh-huh.
I need some of them.
Right.
It would be greatly appreciated if we could get the contacts from this phone to just go to this phone so that all the text messages and everything have like names and things
Right.
linked to them
Okay.
so that I can. That's all I want to do. And I went to Verizon to switch to this phone, and all they did was give me this little sheet of paper to follow, which seems very simple, and I'm usually pretty tech savvy, except for the fact that I can't get the App Store to work on this phone, and I can't get the Wi-Fi to work on this phone.
Okay.
So that is the dilemma that I'm in.
All right.
But if you would be so kind as to just sync that up, then I can give them what they need, and that
I am not good on phone things.
I'm usually pretty tech savvy. After working in the oil field, you gotta get creative out there. Because they have technology, but you're like in the sticks, so everything wants to malfunction.
So are your contacts on this phone synced to the cloud, to iCloud?
I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, some messages came over, so I assume that everything is, but I don't really know. So maybe I'm not as tech savvy as I thought.
What'd you remember? You just said you remembered something besides that. Were you,
Oh, you want to have a conversation right now?
He's an agent. He works with me. He knows about this
I can
case too.
step out if you feel more comfortable.
Oh,
But
no,
if-
I mean, what,
it's
I
okay,
don't know,
if-
whatever.
You tell me.
He had a fire stick. He kept talking about, you know what a fire stick is?
No.
Okay, you probably do since you're a tech guy. They're like.
Oh, you mean like an Amazon Fire Stick?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so he didn't have it in his possession, but on
Who's he
Saturday.
though, Chris?
Yes. So Chris mentioned to me that on Saturday, that same day, because this kind of went hand in hand with the whole like apartment talk, because I was like, oh, that apartment that he said he found, that he was like, I was like, well, what's it called? And he's like, I don't remember. And I was like, well, how much is it? He's like, it's close to $1,100. And I was really taken back by that, because I pay more than that, and I don't really have that nice of a place, and it's not a 2-bedroom, it's a 1. So that part kind of seemed odd to me, but I'd seen a few things online that were kind of cheap, and I was just like, all right. And he's like, I'm just trying to cut costs. And I was like, that's cool. I was like, how else are you doing that? And it was just out of curiosity. And he's like, well, I decided to get rid of cable. And I was like, okay. And I was kind of taken back by that too, because he loves sports. Dude, like, lives and breathes football. So I was like, okay. And I was like, that's a good cost to, to cut back on. And he was like, yeah, I think I can still stream sports via a Fire Stick. And I've heard of those things before. I don't really know a lot about them. But he was saying that he had a buddy working on it already for him.
Who's the buddy?
He didn't say, I didn't ask.
Why do you think that's important?
that he had all that set up. I don't know. I mean, it made me believe
That he was ready to move out? Is that?
Oh,
or
I
he's
get what
ready to
you're saying.
go?
Yeah, like he was prepping. It still sounded like he was prepping. I mean, everything he did sounded like he was getting ready for everything to happen. The only thing that I found really peculiar about the whole situation was the fact that he just kind of seemed disconnected about the apartment thing on Saturday, whereas in previous conversations, he was the one who brought it up, and he was the one who seemed really excited about it when I offered to help him do some like legwork on trying to find him a spot for him and his girls.
Right. I'll be right back. Okay.
So I don't know who his friend was. It was just weird because sometimes it seemed like some of the things he said, he was still really. A lot of things he said made sense. It still to this day makes sense. And then other things that he said don't make sense at all to me anymore. Or like they changed, you know?
Sure. Well, you know a lot more now. Well, unfortunately, you know a lot more now about terrible things that may have happened that changed the way you're thinking about what he said, too. So, making you think differently about those kind of, that verbiage. Right?
Definitely.
Okay. So,
I think
we've talked a lot about a lot of different things.
I hope I'm helping you guys.
You certainly are.
I hope so, because I don't like having this stuff on the top of my head. It's so hard, and so many days I can tell that my mind is trying to like block it all out right now, and I think it's almost like a subliminal like coping mechanism, and I'm trying not to. I'm trying to like think about it so that I can help you guys, and that's why
So why don't you give yourself a break for a day or two and just live a normal life. Stop thinking about this stuff for a day or two and then revisit it. Maybe that'll help you because you look like you're tired again.
I lost my job yesterday, so that's where that comes from.
You lost your job with the geosciences place as well? Okay, sorry to hear that. I think you mentioned with your skill set though, you should be easily employable in another locale.
I don't know. I hope somebody hires me. I hope people don't see my name on a resume and just not hire me.
Well, your name hasn't even made it in the papers yet.
Not yet.
So, remember you said that you had some locations you could go out of state, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's what you're thinking or whatever is going to work for you.
Yeah, I'm thinking a lot about all of that. It's just a matter of timing and trying to figure out when to do it. Hesitant to do it all too soon and then have to do it all over again.
Tell me the name of the geosciences company. I forget.
Tasman,
that's right.
I think I was just so bummed because they told me that they would keep me, and then they called me back and let me go, and I was just like, man.
So did they essentially fire you, for lack of a better term? And that was yesterday?
Yeah. They said they let me go because they hired me to do a contract job, and now that contract was over. It was unfortunate because Anadarko actually offered to pay me for a while, and Tasman said no. So I just wish they would have been honest with me in the first place, but it is what it is.
So now you're out looking for a job too?
I haven't even started doing that. It's not even like a priority to me at this point, but it will get dealt with. So yeah, since I need Hazel to help me out with his lease and sell my truck and change my entire life, and hopefully somebody somewhere will give me a decent job and give me a chance and not judge for all of this whole disaster. So that's why I didn't say.
You said Hazel was helping you out with some of your lease stuff. All right. So
yeah.
When we're here, I think she usually comes in the afternoon today. So we'll check with her.
Hey, I think Matt just went the other way looking for me, but he'll come back eventually.
Awesome. So you must want this for something.
Probably gonna charge my phone. I didn't charge the last thing I charged.
This one? Yeah.
Here.
What's this? Oh, this is your This is the Verizon call logs?
To the 13th.
From what date to what date? You want this one back?
It's a month. It's
Sorry.
like-
No, you're good.
I don't know, it's a month, so it's probably whatever 30 days was, probably July 14th, I'd assume, till August 13th. You'll see it, when you open it up, you'll see it. But it's a month. So my
So
billing.
can I just take this real quick and move it off your thumb drive, and I'll give you your thumb drive back?
You can do whatever you want,
Okay.
that's yours.
You don't need this back?
No, I mean, you can give it back if you want.
Yeah, I'll just go download this to my computer real quick.
I think, so it's a month. It ends on the 13th, and that's why I was saying, when they bill me next month, then I can give you the 14th and past that. And I could have given you the 14th now, but because they haven't billed me for it, like this is in a nice PDF, but the unbilled one is like in this janky Excel format, and you could like manipulate the data. You could, I don't
So
want to give
what
you.
is on here specifically? PDF of your complete phone bill for your cell phone?
That ends on August 13th. Everything after that, you
I'm gonna
can.
go put this on my phone, or
Okay,
put it on my
and
computer.
my lease agreement is on there, and I told Hazel that you had it.
Okay,
So
I'll share it
that
with
to
her.
because she needs that.
Yep, I
And
will.
then, there's also like a computer record of me talking to the Verizon wireless people, asking them if they can restore my text and what they had to say about it, just so that you guys know that I did the due diligence to attempt to do
Sure,
that.
got it.
So those are the three things that are on there.
So the messages that synced up when you started are on this phone, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when she started it, this phone's like 2 years old.
Okay.
But when she turned it on, a bunch of deleted messages from Chris that were on that
Uh-huh.
phone synced up with that phone.
Okay.
So that's the one I want to try to rip.
Okay, so we're gonna download this
Yeah,
phone, but
this
we wanna
one's
get
coming
the
as evidence.
context
Yep.
on
Exactly.
here.
So
Okay.
this one's going to be coming with us as evidence. That one will just rip, so she has a phone.
Okay. I need you to log into Google.
I was trying to figure this out, I don't know.
Oh, okay. That might be an issue.
I know. I mean, if you guys really can't do it, I'm trying to
Well,
go through and figure out who is.
there's another way we can do it, or we can try.
Man, I'm usually really good about passwords, but this one, I don't know. I really don't. I was
Okay.
messing with this before you walked in here.
Okay. And that's the only way you can download apps, right?
Was through this?
Yeah.
I mean, I'll have to figure
I'm
it out.
not an Android guy, so I don't know.
I don't know. I haven't used the Android phone in like 2 years.
Okay.
I guess I'll have to figure this out. That sucks, but it's okay. I
Well,
mean,
there's another thing that we can try.
sorry for
Nope.
the inconvenience.
Did you have a text message on? So when I looked up to
I mean,
Wi-Fi, I think you got a couple more extra.
oh, I got these. Yeah, this came in on my other phone. This was like right when I transferred.
So I think your contacts should be connected to iCloud now, so shouldn't lose them. And we can try and use the machine that we use to download the phones can also transfer. I've never done that, so I don't know how it's going to work, but we're going to give it a shot.
Okay. That would be so nice, because I was looking at these messages and I was like, oh my god, like, don't know. I mean, again, I'm sure I could figure it out pretty quick if I read the text. Look at them.
Yeah.
They're all different.
Okay.
And so you would just save me a lot of time and stress.
Okay, and then we're keeping this one,
Yes.
downloading it and giving it back.
Yeah, and then this one, I think he only needs one number off of, and that one you guys are taking everything.
Okay, but we're keeping this phone, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's yours.
Okay.
Thanks.
Alright, let me go see if I can transfer the contacts.
Do you want the wall charger that goes up?
I'll just put it here so I don't forget it, but I don't need it right now. I will be right back. Or in a little bit.
doing?
I'm alright. I like your little blouse. It's adorable.
Thank you. Thank you. So, I don't have much time. I just want to say hello. Oh, how you doing?
I'm alright.
I don't believe you.
I'm gonna step out.
Okay.
I have that now. I have the lease. I'll give it to Hazel. Okay. Did he get your phones taken care of?
I don't know. He took them both. He
All right.
said he was gonna try.
I'll step out for a few minutes. Give you guys a few seconds. All right. If you remember anything else, we'll talk before you leave. All right. Hazel said she knew that you had been fired, so maybe get some advice on that too, about potentially leaving here and starting anew somewhere else. I think probably is a good thing. All right. I'll be back in a few.
Thank you. So, I know Anadarko fired the other company as well?
Yeah, well, Anadarko just terminated my contract. I mean, I don't blame them. That's just not a good place to be.
Yeah.
But they were concerned, and they offered to pay for like a few weeks.
Well, that is pretty generous.
It was very generous, and Tasman cut it off. They're just like, we don't want to bill a contractor if you're not actually working. Like, I respect that. You know, I don't know. I think it's kind of disappointing because they told me, you know, I informed them of the situation, and then they contacted me like a day later, and they said, oh, you're good, don't worry about it. And they contacted me the day after and pretty much just let me go. And it's like, just be honest.
So will they be giving you another job or another appointment?
They would have had to have. And I kind of had a solution for that situation too, but they didn't seem like they were all about it. So, I mean, it is what it is. I've only been working with them for like 4 months. They don't really know me that well.
That's Tasman? And so are they saying that your contract with them is also terminated, or that you just aren't working in Anadarko anymore and they'll find you another position?
They told me originally that if I wasn't going to work in Anadarko, they'd find another place to put me. And then they came back yesterday night and said, since you're not, we hired you for the contract with Anadarko, and since your contract with them was terminated, we're letting you go.
Okay. Did you call the person whose name I gave you at
No.
Haley?
I've spent all day trying to do stuff for these guys,
Yeah.
so I haven't had a chance.
I think it might be helpful just to talk to him and see what he has to say about it, and see if there's any, you know, he'll probably ask you what your contract with them was and ask you for some more details, and see if there's any way that legally he can help you out, or if he can create some sort of mediation or something like that, or at the very least negotiate a positive referral to another agency or something.
I mean, they told me they'd give me that. He seemed really taken back when I asked him, but I was like, can you at least give me a positive referral? I mean, I did great work for those guys.
Mm-hmm.
They're definitely going to miss me being on their team for sure. And he was like, yeah, I'll do that. Okay. Yeah, I didn't really know what else to do. This is like one more thing on my plate right now. I don't know what to do. I don't think anybody's gonna hire me.
Well, I think that right now, what you need to worry about, it sounds like a really good supportive family, and people that are going to help you get through for a few weeks while you're looking for work. So I think right now we need to just concentrate on getting your lease situation worked out so that you don't have to worry about carrying 2 places, and getting everything worked out with victim comp so that you can get started into some therapy.
Yeah, I still just don't think anybody's gonna hire me. Like, as soon as my name's in the media, like, why would you do that?
Well, it hasn't been yet, and it doesn't mean businesses won't necessarily, the hiring agents won't necessarily have watched the news or know those things, and if they do, I think you can just explain to them that you're doing everything you can to cooperate with law enforcement, and do what you can to have it not impact your job, and, you know, your work at both Anadarko and any place else you've worked prior to that is a good testament to what a good worker you are.
And through all this, you kept going to work, you kept doing your job, you were responsible towards your agency, you informed them about what was going on, you did everything you needed to do.
I just don't think people are gonna hire me. I have a feeling that trying to get by for the next like 5 or 10 years is about to be real rough.
Okay, well, I think that thinking that way is going to be a little self-defeating. So let's try to take care of what we can take care of and try to build things up for you so that you have the most positive prospects for the future. So
I mean, I just don't even know where to start. Like, I have friends that can give me a referral, but what I don't want to do is have my friends give me a referral and then they see the news and then they are very taken back. And I think some people would be kind of upset if I asked them for a referral prior to the news breaking. You almost feel like waiting till it breaks to like try to approach people.
Well, have you tried thinking about like a temporary agency or someplace? You know, like Kelly Girls. I mean, I know they don't pay well, but something like that. And I know it's probably well below your skill level.
I don't know. I'll probably go back to the oil field at some point. Most of those people are a bunch of societal outcasts, so it might work.
Were you happy there? Huh? Were you happy when you worked there?
Sometimes.
Yeah?
Sometimes not, but...
So it wouldn't be torture to go back to that?
No, that's all I know.
Well, it sounds like that's a good fallback, at least until all this gets resolved a little bit.
I mean, if people hire me. It's hard to get a job out there as it is because I'm a woman.
Yeah.
I don't think you can do it.
Well, you have a history that shows otherwise. And that goes a long way. So I understand that Agent Quebec has a copy of your lease. So I'll talk with your landlord and see where we can get as far as getting you out of that. And then I have a list of referrals for you for therapists.
Thank you. Did they approve it?
They haven't yet, but they said they should by the end of the day or early tomorrow. They just have to go through a procedure. You know, it's the government. Everything has a procedure. So it's just going through the procedure. But you could get started in the meantime calling the therapists and just doing little interviews with them. You know, like we talked about, just making sure that it's somebody that you feel confident with and that you feel comfortable you can say anything to.
Understood.
And then I would also ask them, just because I know you have a hard time sleeping and I know that this bothers you all the time, that you could wake up in the middle of the night having some issues, you want to also talk to the therapist about what kind of after-hours support you could get. You know, do they have an emergency line or somebody that you can talk to if it is 4 o'clock in the morning and you haven't been able to sleep all night? And if you need some help making those phone calls, Bobby Joe and I can help you.
Thank you. Okay. Sounds like a plan. Just keep doing everything you need to do every day. There's nothing else to do.
I know you're feeling pretty overwhelmed, and it just seems like it's
Getting
piling up.
Worse and worse and worse and worse.
Yeah. And you know that we are here for you.
Okay.
So you do have support.
Yeah, the media came to my house, left a letter, like old crinkly envelope and a piece of journal paper that was all crumpled, handwritten and chicken scratch. Like, oh, I went to today's show, you should call me. It's like, why would I do that in the first place? But even then, like the lack of professionalism that my family is seeing from these news reporters is absolutely ridiculous.
And you're just ignoring them.
Yeah, I mean, they don't have my phone number yet. They still haven't found it.
Well, that's good. And you're not at your home.
No.
And your dad's pretty good about saying no and walking away. So.
Yeah, they're contacting everybody, but so many people reach out to me. The media called me today.
And, you know, all they have to say is that they don't know anything about it and they don't have any comment.
That's what I told them.
Just I don't want to talk to you or
yeah,
whatever.
No comment, or you don't know, and I was like, like, you don't have to talk to them. It's like, you don't have to call them back. You don't owe them anything. Like, just send me love and support. I haven't said anything else. I don't really know what else to say.
No, that's good.
But I had to do it with a lot of people, and it wasn't something I wanted to do. I was trying to avoid that situation, but I've just been like inundated with phone calls and texts about it, so I was like, alright. Talked to my dad, and I was like, do we do damage control on the rest of these people so that they're prepared or not? And he was just like, yeah, we'll do it. So I just called like my closest friends, and I didn't say anything about the case or that I was a witness. I just told them, it's like, hey man, I need you to do this for me. Like, me comes to your door asking you questions, just tell no comment. Please take all the pictures that you have of us off of social media, and I love you and I'm safe. And I didn't break any laws.
Oh, that's good.
Well, because they start freaking
I know, they
out,
start
like,
wondering
what
why.
did you do? And I'm like, no,
Yeah.
it's okay, you just help me, please. So,
Yeah.
I mean, so far,
Well, when we talked about that, how you believed that your friends and your family would, at least for a while, be supportive, not knowing anything, just knowing that you needed their love and support.
I mean, it's been 4 days that they've been searching for me, and they haven't found me yet. I'm sure they will eventually, but I think 4 days it's not a bad start.
I think you're right, and
they still haven't found my phone number.
And you do have a plan. Do you know you have the plan to just say no, to hang up, don't answer the door, don't answer the phone? You'll have caller ID, so you know if it's your family or your friends, and you have a voicemail that they can leave a message and just say what they want. If it's family, everybody else you can just ignore. You don't have any obligation to talk to any of them.
Right. That's pretty much where it's at. It's just like one task at a time. Every day do something else. But I'm here, and they got my phone, so hopefully they can get what they need. And
good.
Hopefully it will help. I'm just trying to do everything I can, but at this point, it's like I don't even know what to do anymore. I just like really want to just start taking care of myself and not everybody else, and I feel like it's just not happening.
Well, I think that's all you do have to do right now, is take care of yourself. There's really no one else that you have to take care of right now. You know, let your friends, let your family take care of you. Let them offer you support. You're doing everything that we've asked of you. And you just need to now take care of yourself and get yourself through this. And let your family support you, and let your friends support you. You don't have to take care of them. You've done what you need to do for them. You've told them, I'm in a situation in which I just need you to support me, unconditionally support me. And that's all the taking care of them that you need to do right now. There'll be plenty of time for the rest of your life to take care of people. Right now, you just need people to take care of you.
That'd be nice.
I know I've asked you this before, but I'm going to ask you again. Are you still feeling like you're not thinking at all about suicide or hurting yourself?
No, I'm not thinking about any of that.
Okay, good. And you promised me you'll let us know if you start thinking that way?
I text you guys in the middle of the night every time I'm stressing out.
Okay, so you will. Okay. Okay, because we want to be here to help you. We don't want this to turn into another tragedy for you.
Understood.
Well, I didn't know what time you were coming in today, and I have another appointment that is coming in. So I'm going to move to an agent, go back to that too.
That's okay.
So that you're not sitting in here all by yourself? Okay. Because it's not a pleasant room to be hanging out in.
No, not at all. This is awkward. They have my phone, his phone's ringing, and I'll just sit here. But you don't even
well, actually, I don't have to go and find out where he is.
We're trying to get your phones to work, but you don't remember your Google account?
I should, to be honest with you. It's like programmed into the two places I use it all the time, and so I don't have to remember.
So the only way to transfer your contacts from that phone, from your iPhone to that phone, is with your Google account.
I mean, if I need to, I know.
We're gonna print we downloaded them so we have the file available, we can print it for you.
Can you do that? That
Yep,
would be nice.
but we can't move them because
That's okay.
your phone is essentially, you won't be able to download apps or anything like that without your Google account.
Okay.
So, but you do know it?
Do it on my Google account?
Yeah.
No, if I did, then we wouldn't be in this.
But you know, do you have it somewhere else?
Yeah, I'm sure I can
Okay.
like reset it and figure it
So
out
what
at this point. when
just
I'm
making
not
sure you
here.
have a phone that's gonna be usable.
Yeah, I mean, I can make incoming and outgoing
Okay.
calls at this point, is all I really care about.
So he's gonna download the messages that, uploaded when you redid your phone. So that's taken, it shouldn't take too long.
Yeah, there's not much on there.
Yeah.
It's
Shouldn't-
pretty short.
Should take just a few minutes and then we're done.
They're all like, they're not even on the right date, some of them. It's really weird how they're time stamped.
Okay.
Like there's one on there on the 13th and I'm like, I'm pretty sure that that was a conversation. that-
Between you and Chris?
Yeah, but it was like not that same day.
The
Like-
13th was a Wednesday.
Or the 12th, I don't know.
All right.
It's
We'll
not in
look
the
at
right
them.
spot. They're
Okay.
not in the right spot.
Maybe the date on the phone's messed up. I don't know. I'll look at the phone and we'll see.
Well, it's out of order. Like, unless I'm confused, but I'm pretty sure the last text on there between me and him was actually probably somewhere in the middle of the text.
So when you say out of order,
Like, it's saying, oh, hey, this happened on, like, Tuesday, but really, I'm like, I'm pretty sure that that happened at a different point.
okay. All right.
It's
So
only that
if
one.
it's critical, we'll talk about it.
I don't think
I need to look at the text first, though, before I know.
Of course.
Okay.
Understood.
You probably want to go.
Yes, well,
Because you have your
I
next,
want to.
you have your next client coming in.
Thank you for your time. I appreciate
Oh,
it.
yeah, you're welcome, and I'll send you those therapists, and then, just get started and giving them a call and seeing who you think is gonna be a good fit for you. So this we can have it ready, so that when the comp says yes, you can get started right away.
Thank you.
And if you need any help making those calls, you start making them and realize you just can't do it on your own. Just call me, either Bob, Joe, or I can just call with you and be there with you while you make those calls.
Thanks.
Okay. And if you want to, try to give the guy from CDLA a call and talk with him.
I will definitely call him. That is on my priority list at this point. I just not on the top of it.
Yeah, no, I understand that. I understand. And I'm sure he'll say it depends on what your contract said. So if you have your contract with them where your dad can get to it, because it's probably at your house, if you can have it where your dad can get to it or something to get for you to send to him, that'd probably be really helpful.
I have it. It's all remote. It's all electronic.
Oh, okay, good.
Everything. I don't have to go back to the house at all.
Okay, good. Good. Okay.
Thank you so much, Hazel.
And call me or text me anytime, okay? I appreciate it. Okay. Thanks, Jason.
All right. I'm going to see where he's at. What else? Anything else while we're here that you can think of or want to address or you remember?
Sometimes I feel like I remember stuff, but it's like vague. Like I'm like I don't know. I don't.
And not everything's important, obviously.
Yeah.
I know I tried to get you to remember as much as I could because a lot of the stuff that you have told me over the last couple conversations is relative and it's important. And I appreciate you going back and looking at calendars and doing all that stuff. But stop thinking about this for a while. I think we've got everything. I don't think you can remember anything more. We've had a lot of conversations about this case. So just give yourself a break. Go have dinner with one of your friends and nobody knows who you are.
Not yet.
So even better to make that happen. Whoever you trust in, like Charlotte or whoever your other friends are, go have a normal night and not sit at your house and dwell on this. It might do you wonders, okay?
Are they gonna post anything if they don't find out anything? Because I'm just surprised they haven't.
About
said
what?
anything yet. About me. I mean, it's been 4 days.
You know
And
that
it's
they
been-
are dying to find out who you are.
I know. They haven't even reached my inner circle yet. It's been 4 days.
You got good friends.
Yes, I do.
So be thankful for that. And we've had this conversation. Is it, you know, you said you're thinking about going somewhere else? Go.
I don't know when I'm gonna do that. And can you guys help me with the name change? Can you like do that? I'm serious, please.
So I can't do anything for you. That's a legal process. It's really not that difficult. There's just paperwork that needs to be filled out. I think your best bet would just be to call and maybe ask an attorney to help you with that, or seek advice from, I don't even know who you'd call, honestly, but people change their name all the time when they get married, so it's probably the county clerk, but it's gonna, I would think it would have to be at a state level to make a name change, but I don't know specifically how to do that. I don't.
Does that like become public? Because that would defeat the purpose.
I don't know. I know it can be done, I just don't know how to do it, and I wouldn't even know who to reach out. I mean, I could find out and let you know, but I don't know how to do it. You know, like the witness protection thing is very, very rare.
I'm not expecting that.
Yes.
He's not going anywhere.
He's not going to hurt you, all those things. So.
No, I'm not expecting that. I don't even know. Like sometimes I'm like, I just want to do it now, and I'm like, why? Because it's.
But if you go to another state,
I feel like it would defeat the purpose. You know, a part of me, I keep getting really scared that it's going to be really hard to find good employment for like a really long time, like years and years and years of my life. I feel like people aren't going to want to hire me.
If you go to another state, this is not headlines in that state. You realize that?
I mean, yeah, I do.
And if I do a background on you, you're a good employee. It doesn't come up that you dated Chris Watts and you're involved in this case. It doesn't work that way. So I wouldn't worry too much about that.
But, I mean, I don't know. I just feel like this is just like one of those things that if it goes to court, it's going to be like huge.
Well, I mean, it's national right now, but it's not like, you know, it's not the theater event that happened in Aurora 7 years ago, right? That everybody in the world knew about. It's not that. So certainly for you, you're under the microscope and you're feeling it, and nothing anybody can say can change that for you. So I get it, but I think you need to just step back for a minute, take a breath, figure out what you're going to do. Obviously, you have some very serious decisions to make over the next, couple of months.
I know. I'm trying to find out how to do all this without spending all my savings. Just saving up for a house, and I'm just like, damn it.
Well, at least you have savings to fall back on, too. A lot of people can't say that.
Yeah, that is true. Well, since they fired me, hopefully I can get unemployment for a little while so I can, get my mind right and go to therapy and then go back to work at that point, because I am not ready. So.
Going back to work might be a good thing for you, though. Then you don't sit and think about this every day.
I know. I agree with that. But finding a job is the big task. That's why I told her, she's like, why don't you reach out to some of your friends, about a job. It's like, well,
they don't know what's going on.
No, they don't now, but what I don't want is somebody to give me a reference and then they find out what's going on. I think that's really disrespectful.
I think you reach out specifically to an employer, not a person. I don't know anything about the oil industry, but other companies like who you work for. I have this skill, and I'd like to come to work for you.
I'm thinking about it. I was thinking about reaching out to some old employers. I've always been a really good employee to those people. Everybody, when I leave, is pretty disappointed. This is the first time I've ever been terminated from a job. So.
Sometimes that can be tough to get over, too.
It's hard. This was like the dream job. I feel awful about all of this. I wanted that for so long to get out of the oil field. I was so tired of living on oil rigs. It's such a rough life. I just want to be in the office and work in environmental for an oil company, and I finally got it, and all this happened.
Well, you have that skill set now, so maybe you can move back into that.
I hope so. We will see. I forgot what else I was going to ask. Are you guys... Am I in trouble because I deleted his text?
You're not in trouble.
I didn't know what was going on at that point.
So, I know does that cause question?
Of course it does.
There is, but is it criminal? No. Is there concern that you're hiding something? Potentially. That's why I want them, or I wouldn't be asking for them.
I know,
And
I'm
you've
trying to
been
give you
up,
guys
you've
that.
been upfront with me about everything. I don't have a concern that you know, you ever told Chris, I don't want you, you know, go kill your wife.
No,
or
no.
get rid of your kids, or I don't want to date you if you have kids. None of those things ever came out of your mouth. We've talked about that.
Yeah.
So, but until those text messages that are deleted are there, you know, and all that, it's just speculation. But it's kind of like, why did you do that? And I get your excuse. I understand what you're saying, that on Tuesday you realized who this man was and what he had done. You didn't want him to be part of your life anymore, so you got rid of it.
I didn't even want to see it in my phone. It was like freaking me out because I remember I had like deleted them, and then he sent me another text, and then I deleted that one too.
Right.
Because I was like, I don't want to deal with this. By the way, when you're looking through those texts, look for his ABC phone for that one conversation we had where he screenshotted me what he did on Monday. You remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you said that's his Anadarko phone.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And that should be the only like recent, like there's probably stuff if you guys are able to pull up from way back that we talked, but nothing.
The thing we talked about was him proving that he went to the oil field.
That he went to work.
That he went to work that morning at whatever site he was supposed to go to check on the
So that'll be in there.
release.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, and then, I don't know, am I allowed to like address my friends and tell them, please no comment to the media? I mean, I haven't been telling them anything else.
I would not talk with anybody about any of this case. Except, I mean, I know you need to talk to a therapist, and you need to talk, I'm sure you're talking to your dad.
To some extent, I
probably
mean,
your closest person.
when he's not in here for this, I don't tell him about this. I tell him I'm coming down here, but he doesn't need to know anymore. He's so stressed.
You're an adult. You made some decisions that caught you in a bad situation. But there's nothing wrong with you talking to somebody. I just wouldn't go into details.
No, I haven't even been telling people
But
I'm a witness for anything.
certainly your best friend, I mean, if I was you, I'd be confiding in my best friend, like, hey, this is what's happening in my life and I need help. Is there anything wrong with that? No.
I mean, that's about as far as confiding has gone, was me telling her about some guy that I was hanging out with, but that was like way before any of this.
Yeah, and you need support right now too, so you're not in trouble, there's no charges against you, you're simply a
I just
witness.
don't want to like get in trouble for like talking to like my dad or like
About
asking
what?
a friend for help. Well, I mean like what my dad already knows, you know what I'm saying?
There's nothing to get in trouble for.
Okay, I don't know how that works. That's why I'm asking. I'm
Yeah,
like, I don't want.
there's-
This is one more thing I don't need on my plate because I just,
Right.
oh my god.
You're not in trouble, and talking to your friends and family about what's going on isn't going to get you in trouble. Okay?
I don't even want to talk to my friends about it. I don't even want anybody to know. I mean, they're gonna find out, but I figure the reason that I think I'm staking out from the media as long as I have been is because nobody knows anything, and because my inner circle's really awesome.
Maybe.
I don't know. They haven't even.
Or
made
they
that
just, because you're not on social media.
at all, but I mean, I eliminated all of that.
Right.
I've like even had the ability to like go through, I went and found everybody I knew that had any public posts, and it was just like, this needs to be cleared. It's all gone.
Right, so you've made it very difficult for them to find you. Do I think eventually that at some point they are going to find you? Sure, of course.
I think they're gonna find out where I'm staying at. I think that would be really tricky.
I don't know, you haven't even told me where you're staying, so,
Nobody
and
knows.
I don't know how it's connected to you or your family, so, I mean, if it's in your family's name, certainly it wouldn't be that hard to figure it out. So, if that, you know, there's ways to find out where people are staying, but they're limited. I mean, unless somebody knows about this place that talks to them.
Nobody.
So-
Nobody. Alright. My
All right.
dad doesn't even know where I'm at.
Let me check on this, let me check on this phone.
Oh yeah, that's right. I was like, I'm not ready to go.
I know you're ready to go.
I told you to call.
So he's printing your contacts. I'll be back in a minute. with those. And he's still messing with your phone. Give me a few minutes, okay?
Yes.
Back in a minute. Did you sign this?
Yes, it should be good.
There it is, cool. Alright. Do you want a copy of that?
Sure, that would be fine.
Back in a minute.
Wow, you guys got this all printed up.
All right?
One more question for you.
Yeah.
I have jury duty on September 17th. Is that something that I can do, given the fact that I'm
course.
like mid in this mess?
Yep.
Okay.
So just answer their question. They're going to ask you a bunch of questions. Answer them truthfully. Yeah, I wouldn't avoid it. But
I just didn't know.
Have you ever gone to jury duty?
I was supposed to go once and they didn't need me, but I just wanted to like double check. I didn't know.
No, it has no bearing on what's going on in this. So you're all right. I think he's still trying to get your phone to download. You mean it?
The restroom.
Yeah,
I
you
just
need
like
to.
leave my stuff in here
Yep.
and come back in here.
Left again. just having a bad day. Okay, will you show me the messages that downloaded? I'm gonna take photographs of them because the device that we were using doesn't wanna work. I don't know.
Oh, for those?
The messages that came from Chris that you said showed up on the phone?
Yeah, please. I don't think any of the ones from his Anadarko phone came in, but I don't know the number.
Okay.
I didn't see it. Maybe you can give me that number, we can check that real quick too.
I can probably get it real quick. Show me the ones that you think came from him, those.
I'll
nine.
show you, yeah, I know he's a
and
911, just give me a sec. Boom, right there.
So I am going to take photographs of these in lieu of downloading it with
Well,
this.
we can just screenshot them and send them to you.
Well, but there's no way to do that.
No, I mean,
Because
screenshot right here.
This isn't hooked up to Wi-Fi or anything, is it?
No, but I'm saying it.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
It'll come in clearer, or you can watch me do it, is what I'm saying. What
Yeah,
if I
and then you wanna-
screenshot them and then text them to you right now?
Yeah, or you can email them to me.
I'll just send them to you right now while we're here.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay. You know what's scary? I read this one. This is back in June 27th. This is like when we first started talking. And look at him. Loyal, truthful, dedicated, doesn't play games. It just makes me so sad to read this and think like.
So are these some of the ones that
everything
you
is alive.
deleted?
I deleted everything that he sent me. But these are just old. Like, look how old.
And was there any from those dates?
Yes. So look, like these 6/27, 6/29, and these are old, and then they seem to be, see, and then we're missing the 2nd and the 3rd, and then there's the 4th.
Okay, so there's a lot of messages.
Kind of,
that
but
make
then,
that-
like, yeah, then there's no 5th, 6th, 7th, or 8th, and then there's the 9th, but it's only one text, and then the 17th, one text.
And you guys text how many times a day?
All the time. I bet you guys have hundreds of messages that
Okay.
you need to recover. But yes, so here's the 11th. But look, there's only one from the 11th.
Can I just see what he said
Yeah,
in those
yeah,
days?
yeah. And then the only text I think might be out of order, is the one at the very end. I just wish they were more complete, and I don't understand why they're coming in bits and pieces. Like, what's causing that?
So the 10th, oh, you went to the Rockies game.
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't see him that day. I was with my friends, but I stayed with me that night.
Okay, so this one's on Sunday night.
Yeah, that's
At
right.
4:07 p.m. What's he talking about? Pounding fruit? Is that you or him?
That's him.
Talking.
Oh, so he was talking about that birthday party I was going to go to. Whoever was hosting it, I don't remember. Like, he told me the name once, but
Jeremy?
I forgot. I don't even remember, to be honest with you. Like, the only names that I remember very well is Nick and Mark. Those are the only two that I could be like, oh yeah, like I could tell you, like, maybe a little
Those
bit
are his
about
friends?
those people. Yeah.
Okay.
But he went to the birthday party, and he said, oh, this guy always barbecues. And then he was saying, oh, he didn't barbecue, so he was saying he had fruit and asparagus. Yeah, didn't do any smoked barbecue this time. He did hot dogs, so he was saying he avoided that. He was like trying to eat healthy.
So this is the final one.
This is the one, I don't know if this is in order. I'm not sure exactly what this is referring to. I think this one at the bottom, this, oh my god, that's absolutely ridiculous. They would freak out. That, do you remember when I told you, like, I was always trying to, like, incorporate his kids and stuff? I mean, even if it wasn't, like, directly, like, me and him, but just, like, I was always thinking of cute stuff when I'd see stuff, and I was like, oh my god, little girls would like that. I would show him, and I found this box of Lucky Charms that was unicorn Lucky Charms.
Okay.
And I thought they were really cute, and I texted it to him, and I was like, do your little girls know about these? Because they're awesome. And I was like, little stuff like that.
So
and
that's...
I don't think that that's the 13th, because I don't think I talked to him that day. What day was the 13th? I can't remember.
Monday,
Was it Monday?
I think. I gotta look, because I can't.
I think it will, no, well then maybe these are in order. Monday was the day I think that I sent that text.
Yes, that's Monday morning at 2:44 p.m. So that's in the afternoon, Monday. Does that sound right?
I was at work when I texted it to
Okay.
him.
So that fits.
Okay, so then it is in order, so it is in order.
So
And this
is
makes
the
sense,
12th.
because that's Sunday, right?
That's Sunday.
Okay, so they're in order, they're just missing a whole
So
bunch.
he's basically saying he's still at that
Barbecue,
and that fits. Okay, perfect.
Okay, so then this one is in the right place.
Yep.
I was thinking 8:13 was Tuesday, and I'm like, I don't think him and I had very pleasant conversation on Tuesday.
You want to screenshot all those to me?
Yeah. So let's start with
And then
how do you screen
I
shot?
turned this off, but
Oh, this is almost weird, you like ninja chop it. Oh, I think that worked. Okay, so that takes us down to 6:29, so then I'm gonna scroll up to 6:30.
ninja chop. Interesting.
That's
It's old school.
I had to do a stop for comments and submission in my house last night. I was on Star. I did not like it. I was like, this is scary. But it's cool. I got to use it, so hopefully I don't have to go back.
So while you're doing that, let me ask you about the text with you and Charlotte.
Yes.
You talk about children, and he's got his own kids, and that makes you kind of uncomfortable because you'd like to have your own family. Put that in context for me. Is that a fair statement the way I'm saying it?
I mean, I guess. There was never anything I said to him though.
Okay, that's what I want to know. Did you ever say anything to him about
Never.
anything about his kids being a problem? Anything about his wife being a problem?
Never. I always try to be so inclusive with them. And even with her, when I was talking to her, it wasn't that his kids were an issue. It was just, this man already has a life. Should I go build my own, with somebody who hasn't done that yet? And then she was the one that was saying, I was engaged once and it didn't work, and now I'm engaged again, and she's trying to tell me, it doesn't matter, I'm on my second time of going through this, and she's like, I love this man very, very much, and she was saying, he's not gonna love you less because he's already been through marriage once and been separated and already had kids, he's not gonna...
Those references were never made to him, though, about children.
Never.
So Charlotte, that's who you were talking with?
Yes.
Did you one time tell me Charlotte's a lesbian?
No, she's engaged.
Okay. Were you talking about one of your friends that might have been a lesbian at some point?
That's not the case. I don't think so. I don't...
You never said that about any of your friends that I inquired about?
I don't think
Okay.
so. I don't think that
I think
was
on
the
the first day we talked with your dad there, I inquired about Charlotte.
Yeah, you asked me about Charlotte and eHarmony, and I went through
Right.
my text and I was like, what is he talking about? And I couldn't find it. So I was wondering if maybe somebody referenced both of those two, but not in together.
Okay.
I'm wondering if that's where that came from.
So Charlotte is your friend, she's your closest friend.
Yeah.
You guys have this conversation, but it never went anywhere besides her and you.
Yeah,
You never mentioned it to Chris. You never said anything about your kids, or his kids, pardon me, damaging your guys' relationship.
No.
Or nothing like that.
Never. And I mean, and even in that, it wasn't I never said his kids were a problem. It was just he already has a life. I don't know about
Right.
that.
So in light of what's occurred, though, what I'm trying to make sure is that there was never a conversation that you guys had that he might have thought that you were saying, I can't be with you if you have kids.
I wouldn't be with him if I couldn't.
Okay. So I'm just making 100% sure that those...
I promise you.
Okay.
I really want you guys to pull these texts because all the stuff I've been telling you will
Okay.
sync up.
And I hope we can... I haven't been very lucky with your phones yet. They've been nothing but a pain. So this one's coming with me.
Okay, I think I know, this is a task. Some of these might be duplicates, but whatever. I'm gonna send these to you. No, that was kind of something between me and her, and it wasn't even really the kids, it was that, like, he'd already been married before, and I was just like, I don't know if I, like, am in a long-term relationship with this guy, is that something he would eventually want? Because that's something, like, I would eventually want, you know, I just...
So your concern was more about his prior marriage than his children?
I guess. I wasn't really that worried about him at that time. Like, if you read the majority of those texts, like, it's very, very flattering to him and all the nice things that I have to say about him. It was just that I wasn't, like, 100% committed to him yet. I mean, I was monogamous with him. I wasn't seeing any other men. But I wasn't, like, hey, this is the guy I want to spend the rest of my life with. And part of the reason that I was uncertain, I mean, yeah, he'd already built a life, but honestly, like, he wasn't out of the marriage that he was already in.
Right.
So, I mean, I'm not going to go tell the whole world, like, hey, I've got this guy, and, you know, I'm going to take in his kids, and we're going to do this, and we're going to do that, and it wasn't because I had any problems with them. It's just, he was married.
Okay.
I know the context of that text now, like, looking at it looks so bad.
You have to look at it from the perspective that I'm looking at it.
Yeah.
And how it could be misconstrued or made out to sound something another way. That's why I wanted to give you the opportunity to say what it really means. Okay?
No, I don't mean any harm towards those kids. I always thought they were so cute when he showed me those pictures. He was all about them, you know, and not only that, but it's like, once you guys get those texts, you will see, like, there's not very much mention of his children. And if there is mention of his children, it's always, like, cute stuff where it's like, hey, you should show them this, or hey, this apartment's great for them, or, you know, what do you think of bunk beds? And, you know, like, those little girls, like, remind me of my little sister. They're, like, the same age.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, like, it was so cute. Like, he would call his little daughter, the younger one, Cece, he'd call her Rampage. He's like, she's wild. And it used to just make me smile because my little sister was totally Rampage. And it just was kind of, like, spot on, you know? And so, like, it just kind of made me think, like, okay, these guys are going through a divorce at the same age that I was at when my parents went through a divorce. And it's like, how did I handle that? You know, and I tell them, like, you know, this is what happened when my parents separated and we were this old. And just try to, like, give him a reference because I gave it to him.
Right. Okay.
I mean, but just because I care about him and I care about his kids and all of that doesn't mean that I'm ready to turn around and, like, commit everything.
Did he ever say anything like that? Like, do I have to get rid of my kids, or do I, you know?
This shocked me just as much as I think it shocked the rest of the world. All of it. Like, he lied so much. Now I go back and think about all this shit, and I'm like, it's lies. Everything that they knew about him was, like, lies. I mean, his friends let him stay the night at their house. He even fooled them. It's not just me. He lied to everybody. He had all of you fooled. And everybody stood up for him. His friends stood up for him. I really thought she left. I was like, let her fucking go. You know, she'll come back in a day. She'll be alright. Let her cool down. She'll be here. It'll be okay. You know, like, had me convinced. Like, I think she's just upset. And then never would I guess. I mean, even now, when I go back through this stuff, that I'm like, it doesn't make sense, you know, or it, like, seems a little off. That stuff still doesn't send a red flag to me, like, hey, this guy's gonna murder his family.
Sure.
You
I
know?
don't think there was any, you didn't have any indication, and by all accounts, it doesn't seem like anybody did.
No, I just, like, you know, sometimes I, like, try not to think what that man is thinking, because, like, you don't know, you know, but it's like, how long has his brain been, like, shifting to this paradigm shift where he feels the need to do this? It's like, I just don't believe that it's something that just happens in a day or 2 days. I don't think it happens in 2 months. I think that this is something that takes a very, very long time to develop, and I don't...
Right. So that scares you when you look back at it?
Yeah, because I think about it and I'm like, he could have had that capacity to do that whether I was in his life or not. He could have had the capacity to do that, maybe not even just to them. It could have been me. It could have been our coworkers. I mean, the more I think about it, I think a lot of people are going to probably assume that I was the catalyst for his movement, but I don't think, not me instructing him, but him deciding to do that because he had me in his life and because he was so infatuated with what we had going on. But I try to put the reason to it at the end, why would you wipe out your family to be with me? It doesn't compute. It's how would that go? Hey, my family just disappeared, and you think that I'm gonna just not be concerned about that? And not only that, he was so about those little girls, and I always try to push him to do that. I told you, there'd be days where he would want to come over to my house after work, and I'd be like, no, go hang out with your kids. Your kids are home. That was me. That wasn't even him. That was me pushing that. And he would go do it, and he spent time with them, but he was never oh, I don't want to hang out with them. He'd just be like, can I see you for a few hours? And I'm like, if your kids are awake, go hang out with your kids. If they're asleep and you want to talk, you call me, but don't do that while they're up. Spend time with them. And I just, oh my God. And that is the part that I have the hardest part swallowing, where it's why would you take them out to spend time with me? It doesn't fit. It doesn't fit at all.
Mm-hmm.
But
you said he was infatuated with you.
But even then, if he's so all about me, and I support him being with his kids, you would think that he would want to do what would make me happy.
It's a good point.
And
so maybe
what
that's why
would make me happy
was him hanging out with his
kids. And it's in texts, it's in phone conversations. Okay. So that's what I'm saying, that doesn't...
We'll look at it.
It doesn't...
that one particular context in that, it's so open, kind of the interpretation and whether or not you said it. That's why I wanted to address it in particular. Okay?
Yeah, there's nothing like that in our text. I can tell you that right now. Never.
Did you send those?
Yeah, I'm working on it. I'm sorry.
How'd you ever get any work done? You get sidetracked.
I actually got a lot of work done.
I'm just teasing you.
It was a lot easier in the oil field than it was in the others, so. 871-956-9098.
I am.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
Yeah, don't send those to anybody else, please.
Let's see how many I can do at a time. Screenshots.
Probably send them all. How about email? If you emailed it, could you select each one and attach it to the email?
I just want to do it here so you know that I did it in its entirety.
Okay. That's right, you don't have Wi-Fi on that phone, right?
No, I don't have anything on here. Okay. I think this is all. This is going to be a slow process here, but bear with me. Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes I just feel sometimes I legitimately think that man's cheese was sliding off of his cracker long before I came into his life.
Have you stayed away from the media the last couple of days?
Yeah, I guess they know where I live.
No, what they're reporting about him or the case.
No.
So you've been watching that?
Kind of. I have thought.
So you saw the video of him talking about relationships?
Oh, I can't even bring myself to watch most of them
Okay.
stuff. I will like scroll through the headlines if they look different than what I previously like knew about the investigation.
Again,
Kind of
just-
looking for my name so that I
Sure.
know when it happens, so that I can deal with that. But other than that, no, I don't. I never actually watched that video.
Okay.
I don't really like. I have a hard time like looking at him now. It's kind of the same thing. Like when I deleted the text, like I saw his mugshot and I like looked at it the first time I saw it and it scared me. And now when I see it, I just like move past it because I find it to be. I don't get it. Did I just send it? I don't know how to work this new phone now. Attached. One. I think some of these are repeats, and I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Okay.
As long as I have them all, that'd be great.
I think you do.
You look like you've been drinking way too much coffee.
Because I'm shaky?
Yeah.
Oh, I think it's the sleep loss. 8:12.
They're coming.
You don't have the one at the very bottom, I don't think. Let me see if I click. Oh, you do. No, you don't. No, you don't. You're missing the last one. Let me get that last
Send me the last one and then we'll send you out of here. And then don't think about this stuff for a while.
I'm trying.
All right?
It's hard.
And
It's so
then
much easier.
when
to
I'm
say
done
that.
with your phone, I'll get this back to you.
I mean, if you guys need to keep it, just
No, we
keep
won't
it.
need to keep it because what it's going to do, if I take everything, then it's just easy. I get it back to you. Okay? So the examiner that's going to look at it, she comes back in early next week, and I'll try to corral her to do that as early as possible, so we can download your phone and then get it returned to you.
Alright, I guess this phone is so different than my other one.
It's totally different than an iPhone, I know that.
It's just been a long time. It's been years and years since you actually had this phone.
So, let me go see if I can find his Endarco number real quick too. I'll be right back.
Yeah, and then I can give it on me.
Totally forgot about that. Right back. Okay. 720. You just reading those?
I haven't seen these in so long.
Look for his Undarko stuff so then you can get out of here.
What is it?
Can you read my handwriting?
390. Let's start at the top. I just resent you all of those.
It's fine.
720. So that would have been on the 12th or the 13th. What day was Monday?
11th was Saturday. So the 13th would have been Monday.
Okay, so it would have been on the 13th. That was the day that I don't see it. I see one of my contractors. I see him. I don't see it in here. I won't erase none of this stuff though.
It's okay.
So you guys need to take it this time. I'm so sorry. I really, I didn't know.
It's fine. Don't beat up yourself about it. We've already been through this 10 times. It is what it is. Is there any older ones potentially from his Andarko phone?
That's a possibility.
Is there a way to search those?
I
Can
don't
you
know.
go
I
here?
don't know.
And
Maybe. What about this side? There's like another tab. I haven't used this phone in years.
Search.
Cool. Yay. 720. It's gonna be like that to everybody.
Nope. Okay. None on your phone.
Okay. I tried.
How about in your call log? That was text messages. In your call log, did you ever converse with him on that phone? I mean, this phone's pretty old.
I don't think
Oh, but
the call log
it's
can
downloading all
hold
sorts of stuff. How about you look at your call log and just see?
Let's see if it's down. No. 11/02/2016.
Okay.
And then all of these are all 2016. So it didn't update the call log. All it did was today once I got the phone. Okay.
Is that a Samsung
Galaxy S5? Yeah, I just thought it was so weird. All those messages started showing up, and I was like, please have all of them.
That would be so. Would have been really nice.
Wouldn't it? I could have just given you guys
It would
this
have
one
made
and
my
not
life
go
way
drive
too easy.
today.
All right. You ready to get out of here?
Yes. I am.
All right. Take your stuff. I will call you. Probably won't be next week. I'm going to be busy all next week. I'll be going. So I'll call you the week after about when your phone's done, and I'll get that back to you. And then at that time, if there's anything new, we can talk about it then.
You think he's going to take this all the way to trial?
I do. Right now.
Have they gotten no discoveries yet?
No. They have some stuff.
Do you think that's going to change when they get those? Do they know that I'm like one of your witnesses?
Yeah. I mean, they have to know. Do they know what you said yet? No.